Hello and welcome back to the SportsRunDown Betalong, the first show of 2022. It's strange to say out loud. How are you getting on tonight, guys?
Good. I liked your little 3-2-1 addition to the start of the show.
And I was looking at all the technical setup, and I could just hear cans crack, and I was like, I better just let these know that they're about to.
We're actually going live.
Yeah. So
I'm
welcome
good
back.
anyway.
Before we dive into the usual show and give any newcomers a talk for what we do, Slats, maybe you just want to give us a quick run through your own thoughts on the Dutch game that's on at the minute, just so that we're not accused of anything later in the show.
Yeah, sure. I think we're good. So, so as part of the treble that we're going to describe in a minute, my pick of this treble is the VVV-PSV game in the Dutch 2. My pick is for both teams to score and the match result to be a draw. It's half an hour into it now, and it's 1-0 to VVV, but the odds haven't changed that much. It's still like 13-5 for a score draw, which I was a little surprised with because, I mean, neither of these sides were odds-on favourite, but PSV were like 13-10 or something. They were kind of slight enough favourites. So for Triple V to be up 1-0.
I was going to say, I'm sure that's not the pronunciation of that team.
It's not at all. But yeah, for PSV for PSV to be down 1-0, let's say, I think that's good for the bet. Mm-hmm. So hopefully it won't go 2-0, obviously, and I know Gary's bet is kind of similar to mine. A score draw, you want it to stay tight, and you need goals, so for it to go 1-0 is of course a good thing, but you don't want it to go 2-0 or 3-0 or that. So hopefully it'll stay tight. Hopefully PSV will score next, and it should be looking decent then.
Personally, I'm allergic to back and draws. I just can't stomach the 2 or 3-0. So, okay, well, thanks for getting that out of the way, Slats. What we'll just do is we'll talk through the show. So anyone who's new to us, what we do here is we've got a few different games on tonight live. So Slats has obviously already mentioned the Dutch game that kicked off at 7. We've got a Belgium game at 7:45, Premier League at 8 o'clock, and a few other leagues from around Europe that'll kick off around those same times. We have a live bet on ourselves, and we've got a pre-game ACCA on, which is a 39-1 treble. It's a huge price, so we've landed a couple of these big ones throughout the season so far, so don't be put off by the price. So Slats' pick, I have my own pick, and Gary has his, and the three together is 39-1. We have a tenner on that, and if that wins, it'll pay €390, so we'll give 400 quid to the most engaged watcher, whether Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, are the three places we stream on a Friday night. So make sure to dropping your comments in there. Let us know what you're thinking, what games you're watching, if you've any bets on, what you think of our bets, and we'll share those on with you. And like we said, whoever is the best or the most comments at the end of the night has a chance to win that €400 should the bet land. So that's the background there. And to any regular viewers who were with us last year, thanks for coming back. We appreciate you joining us again for the new year. So before we dive into my bet, which kicks off in about 10 minutes, any starting thoughts for tonight, guys? Anything you're looking forward to in particular?
No, I'd mentioned that other bet in the article. So we have the article on the website that outlines our treble for the night as well. And I'd mentioned in that Helmond Sport in the Dutch 2 had put up a couple of upsets just at the end of last year. They'd drawn with Volendam, who were top of the table, and then on the road they drew with Ajax, who were third, and beat the Graafschap in sixth. And like Helmond were, I think they were second from bottom at this stage. They've kind of climbed out of the relegation zone on the back of those results. They were due to be away to Emmen, but it looks it's not on at the moment. I don't know, is it delayed or postponed? And the way with COVID these days, there's plenty of matches getting cancelled. They were 20-1 to win. I kind of just fancied throwing a small bet onto that. When I'm saying that PSV have just scored, so that game's gone 1-1. If the ref,
I was just about to say that, can we get that ref from the Africa Cup of Nations over to blow it?
Yeah, blow it up there, pal. We're all happy with that. That's great. What I like with that is it gives the comfort, even if there is another goal now, at least that you're not going two goals from the draw. It's pretty tight.
Yeah, it's just the whole look of it. I mean, they know they get back into it, so very different. Yeah,
very happy with that. Yeah, and I'm glad we got to mention it before that equalizer did go in, because you'd have to imagine. I mean, obviously the score draw is just the same as the draw now, and the draw is into 7-4. So we got it at 10-3.
You mentioned that other team, I think it was Helmond, that you like the look of at 20-1. Well, myself and you spoke during the week, lads. We were talking about the bets, and I'll come on to my bet now in a moment, but it involved the Gent Kortrijk game in Belgium. And Kortrijk were as high as 18 to 1 at one point. I think when I put the article together, they were 14s, and they're into 6s now. So, I think there was a huge overreaction in the market there to their kind of COVID news now, in fairness to them. I think they had one stage had 4 senior players available to train, and they had to cancel training anyway because all the coaches had COVID. But most of those players have since come back or at least tested negative, and it looks like they're going to field a relatively strong squad. I mean,
Really?
to move from 20s into 6s, I think is an enormous jump.
God, yeah, you'd be laughing if you got on the 20s. Anyway.
All right, say that again.
I think somebody knows something anyway if it's moving in that much, you know.
Yeah. Exactly, and if you got it at 20s, like Slat was saying earlier in the week, you'd be absolutely delighted with yourself. So that kind of leads to my bet in this one. So I actually went into back Kortrijk, and then I saw the odds, and I just thought, we can't be putting a 20 to 1 shot into a treble on a Friday night. And I ended up going with one of the Gent players to score. So anyone who's familiar with Huddersfield in the Premier League will remember Laurent Deporte. He's kind of like the second man up front for Gent, and he's been playing in the shadows of Thistle all season, but he's gone to the Africa Cup of Nations. And I think he scored something like 6 of the last 8 for Gent. So there's a bit of a gap up front, and with Kortrijk, struggling to field a team, or certainly struggling to train. I think even if they've got their full team back tonight, they're still going to be a little bit rusty. So they've had no training session since before Christmas, and he's 21 to 20 to score. So I think when I looked at it, he was even odds on, but he's gone out to 21 to 20 now, and I think he should have a good chance. He does, score a lot when he's playing up front and centre, and like I said, without Thistle away, I think he's going to have plenty of chances. I would have loved to back him for a couple of shots, but that market's not actually up at the minute, so that's disappointing. And I kind of have like a small feeling that Gent could get a penalty in this one. That's 10 to 1 at Bet365, so ideally they get the penalty, and then Deporte manages to take it and score that goal. Nice and early would be a great start. So that's just my bet there, him anytime goal scorer in the Belgian FDA.
Yeah, taking penalties against a weakened team is a big advantage for that bet as well. You mentioned that too. Yeah, it's definitely a good angle for it. I like that. I
feel like he's not being priced up with, when the odds were 20 to 1 for Kortrijk and their star centre forward for Gent was outside evens to score any time, it just didn't add up. It seemed like even at the minute when they're 6 to 1 and Gent are still 5 to 1 on, it doesn't quite add up that he would be outside evens to score any time. So yeah, very happy with that one. And that kicks off in about 4 minutes, so I'll be watching that here, and I'll talk you through it as the action hopefully comes thick and fast. Yeah, well, that's what we said, that why we don't like draw bets is because you want the action not to come at all, especially now that this one's gone 1-1. You just want it to be the most boring 70 minutes of football you can imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's 5 minutes from half time, so at least if it could stay a draw until half time, we can relax for a while and enjoy the fact that the treble is on track. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you could want more in that game than being 1-1 at half time, really. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Okay, and as that's about to kick off, then Gary, we'll cut to you. So you're our English football expert, and anyone who's not familiar with SportsRunDown.com, Gary has a regular column on the website focusing on the EFL. Now tonight he said his site's a little bit higher with the Premier League. He's usually focusing on the Championship and down, but you got an angle in the M23 derby tonight. You've got. Yeah, it's like probably the strangest derby in England. I'd say. Two teams are nowhere near each other. One's South London and one is, on the south coast, Sussex. So, yeah, but they don't like each other, and they're usually good matches. Usually end to end. Looking at the head-to-head record, 8 of the last 9 have had both teams to score. So only one of them, and that finished 1-0. So I think that's pretty much a certainty that both teams will score. I've seen both teams live this season. I've actually seen Palace twice and Brighton once. Playing against West Ham, and like Brighton really impressed me. I think if they had a really clinical striker, they'd actually be doing a lot better than they are this season. They'd probably be challenging for Europe or maybe even Champions League, which sounds like a bit of a wild statement to make, but they actually are. Like the football they're playing is actually really, really good. I said they just don't have that kind of clinical nature going forward. So I think Brighton will probably dominate possession. Palace will hit them on the counter-attack.
I've gone for a draw on both teams to score. So 3 of the last 5 have ended in 1-1 draws. So a replica of that I'd be happy with tonight. And I also have a little angle into, I didn't put it into the article now, but I think the longer this match goes on, the better it's going to get. So the last 3 games, there's been a 90th minute goal. The last 3 times these have faced each other. So there's been a 2 90th minute equalizers and an 89th minute winner, I think it is, or vice versa. So I think, if we're holding on for a draw later on, I might cash out given the track record, but I won't be too, worried if it's the 85th minute and one team is leading 1-0, given that, the track record is for late action. So, that's kind of the angle I have into the game, but the main bet is draw on both teams to score.
I like that. I think we need to come back to this challenging for the Champions League places. Brighton statement that you made there. That seems like a very bold.
I swear, like if you look
That
at
is
how
quite a
they're
statement.
playing, like their stats and how they're one of the best teams that I've seen play against West Ham this season. Like you have to take Man City out of that, but apart from that, they put in an unbelievable performance. Like, not many teams have gone to the London Stadium and had, I think it was like 66% possession or something like that against West Ham. So I do think that they'd be a lot higher than they are if they could have converted. Like, look at their draws this season. If they converted even 5 or 6 of those into wins rather than draws, they'd shoot up the table. So I know it is a wild statement, but I actually think it can be backed up in a logical discussion.
Okay, interesting. We'll have to wait and see anyway. I looked at this and obviously seems to be the exact opposite of what you're saying there, but I just thought Palace at 3-1 seemed a very big price. Like you said, I could see Brighton hogging the ball and just, if things don't go their way, they could get caught on the counter and 3-1 in a derby seems like a very big price there, even if it's an unusual derby. So I've got nothing backed in that one. Might actually back both teams to score on over 2.5, which I think is 7-5 with bet 365, but the 3-1 did stand out to me a little earlier.
You just reminded me that I never put on my bet builder, so I'm going to go in and do it now. This is an 8 o'clock kickoff, so we've still got 15 minutes, and we can call out the bet builder. But I think I called out in the article that Mikel Elise for Palace is on fire. So I'm going to have a look and see what he has in the shots market, and also I see Conor Gallagher. He's 3-1 for 2 shots on target, which seems pretty big. So I'm going to have a look at that now and dig out a bet builder for tonight.
Yeah, sounds good. Give us a bit of notice before that, because I'll probably tell you.
Yeah, 100%. I was going to say, don't tell me at 5 minutes past 8 when Gallagher's just taking the second shot on target that you've got the bet on.
All I need is 2 more corners and this is in.
Over 3.5 first half corners and that's it. Although knowing my old track record of getting bets on, I probably need a good 10 minutes notice to actually
I don't know, is that I feel like you've missed it on more time than that in the past.
Oh yeah, just talking away about it and then see everybody else cheer. This Belgium
game is kicked off, is it?
Yeah. I don't even know if Kortrijk have had the ball once yet in this. It's only 2 or 3 minutes in, 2 minutes in, but I really not even sure if they've actually touched the ball. So pretty one-sided start here. My feeling was, I actually didn't get to say this beforehand, but I think Kortrijk could grow into the game because they'll be a bit rusty. They could be a little bit, heavy breathing after 10 minutes, having not really ran since before Christmas. And then once they settle, I think it could, if they're still in the game, I could be tempted to get on them. But like I said, now we're closing on the third full minute, and I genuinely don't think they've had the ball. So,
is your lad definitely playing here? I'm looking at the team on Bet365. I don't see him.
Unless he's been a late withdrawal, but he was in the announced team.
Yeah,
and that would be unfortunate.
Yeah, you can never bloody rely on anyone these days to not have some bloody positive test and put out of the game. Unless he's one of these players where he kind of goes by 2 different names, but I don't think he is.
Oh, he doesn't. That is not the way he is at all. He's not on the team now in live score. So he was in the announced team, and now he's gone. And that is unfortunate. Not even on the bench, and they don't have a full contingent on the bench, so it's not like he's been dropped. So
yeah, the only thing about it is it was the lowest odds on our bet, so we should still actually have a pretty decent bet, and more, it's more likely to come in because there's one less leg.
Yeah,
it's disappointing.
Look at it. Very disappointing there from me. That's strange. It might be actually part of why Kortrijk have come in the market now, because that's their two main goal scorers both out. I think between them they scored something like 10 of the last 13 or 10 of the last 14 goals for Gent. So Gent could have a lot of the ball here and really struggle to break teams down, like we saw last night with in the EFL Cup teams with players missing. You can have as much possession as you want, but you're going to struggle to score.
Just from reading Twitter here, it seems to say that he picked up an injury. So it might have been a late injury, but that's why he's out.
Okay. So it's not even COVID then. Wow.
Yeah, like I backed it just before, like after the Dutch game kicked off, I backed our treble. And since then, I've just looked at my account there and it says void for that bet. So it was obviously very late.
Yeah.
That was announced.
Actually, the official Gent Twitter just says that there's no departure tonight, but then somebody else is commenting saying he has COVID. So there's a little bit of discrepancy around there, but I assume if he was in the team, he must have did a late test and came up positive and just been pulled out for COVID. So that's disappointing. But as you said, Flats, we still have the two big priced.
Yeah, I just ran it through the bet calculator there, and it's still going to pay. It's still 18.5 to 1, so it'll be paying 195 if it wins, which isn't bad. And for anybody watching, that's
top commenting,
it's there for the taking if you comment and have a few comments there on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook. You're in with a shot of winning that €195. So it's considering the PSV game is looking pretty good, 1-1 going into halftime. Let me just double check; it's still 1-1. It's 1-1 halftime, and we only have 2 legs now. So in some ways that's actually not bad.
Yeah, it's more likely to come in now than it was. I mean, looking at this open now, we're 6 minutes in here now, and Kortrijk are just starting to get a handle of the game. Like, I mean, they're still under the cosh, but they look a lot more comfortable. They're getting the ball back quite quickly. So, if you backed Gent here at 5-1 on and they have no striker really, you'd be starting to question what value was in that bet. So, that's the status there. Yeah,
of the 6 Dutch games on now, 3 of them are 0-0 at halftime, which is unusual, I guess. But 2 of those that are 0-0, like one of them's had 11 shots on target and 7 shots off target. The Breda Volendam game, without a goal. So I'd say I'm going to be getting on that for a few second half goals. Maybe the Eindhoven Utrecht game. It's not as much, but it's 5 on target, 11 off target in the first half.
Which was the first one?
The NEC Breda versus Volendam. That's had a ton of shots and no goals.
I mean, they're both 3-1 for over 2.5. I know it's a lot of goals in the second half, but
if there's one early, because Volendam are top of the table and Breda they're not too far down, but they're not really in the running, but they're really going at it here. They've had 14 of those shots, so either side is likely to score there, and the other side is definitely going to go back at them. Sorry, were you going to say something there, Albie?
First shot of the game, Kortrijk have scored. 20-1 underdogs, and it is from. Oh my God, this is just absolutely amateurish from Gent, and this is fantastic. Who is it? He's have to get the ball just on the halfway line, a hoof of a clearance from Kortrijk, and he runs the full length of the half, with maybe 6 Gent players around him, and he just runs and runs and runs, goes wide left, the keeper comes off his line, and he just puts it into the far right corner nice and low. So that is a pretty much an ideal start, especially as we don't have Lepotre to actually score for this. I really hope Kortrijk win. It was something I was actually going to touch on earlier in the week, earlier in the show. We can maybe come back to it when we talk about the very unlucky Liverpool false positives that have taken place during the week. But Kortrijk have been absolutely shafted really by the Belgian league authorities. Like, they were forced to play a game when they didn't have any players earlier in the season. Then they had a game on St. Stephen's Day or Boxing Day, and it was called off because the other team had COVID. And then now they have COVID and the game is going ahead despite the fact that they couldn't field a team. They had a cup game where they were going to play a team that had a lot of injuries, but they postponed the game because of COVID. And then the injured guys were back, like proper injuries, and then they'd recovered when they replayed the game, and the other crowd won. So they've just been absolutely shafted every which way they turn. So, it'd be nice if they won this game here. I'd be kind of rooting them on as underdogs with their hard luck story.
Big time, yeah.
Yeah,
There's still 2 to 1 to win the game.
For us previously, Kortrijk, didn't they?
Yeah, I've had a couple of them. And they were on a couple of the Friday nights, so yeah, big fan. I'll cheer them on tonight. I'm not a big fan. That's a gross exaggeration, but I'll be cheering them on tonight. Those Dutch games you're looking at, Slash, 3 to 1 for goals in both of those seems quite juicy.
Is the Eindhoven game is the same odds? Is it? I'm just looking at that here myself. I might just go for over 1.5 in Eindhoven and do a double.
Okay.
Because it's it's nearly evens for 2 goals in that, and the double then is 6.5 to 1. Not bad. So that's 3 goals in Breda and 2 goals in Eindhoven. 6.5 to 1. Yeah, I think there's value there. All right. I'm just going to put a tenner on it, but yeah, I might do something just on the Breda game. Just kind of do a banker bet for 2 goals in that one. Mm-hmm. But the double, I think, looks like value anyway.
Yeah, sorry, big price there. And we've seen it loads of times on the show. There's a lot of late goals in the Netherlands, so definitely worth taking a punt there.
There tends to be, yeah. We've often talked about how it's not, like, I like backing first half goals in games, but, you can see here only half of the Dutch games had first half goals, even though that was, 7 goals scored in 3 games and 0 scored in the other 3. So it can just kind of happen that way in Netherlands. But the second halves do tend to have plenty of goals, and there can be plenty of late goals too. So, we should get a good sweat out of that double one way or another. Unless it comes in too quickly. That could be the only worry.
Just sorry, Sats, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I don't want to get in trouble for not letting you know my bet builder reader, and there's only 3 minutes to get on. So, I've landed on Abriche Eze to have 2 shots on target. Or sorry, to have 2 shots. They don't have to be on target, just 2 shots. That's evened. Both teams to score. Mikel Olise to have 2 shots on target and over 10.5 corners. So basically, the 2 Palace wingers to have shots. 2 of them have to be on target for Olise, and just any shots for Eze. Both teams to score and over 10.5 corners. It's 30 to 1. I think both of those in the shots market alone are really good value. So it's 4 to 1 for Olise. He scored last week in the cup, and he also scored, I think it was 2 against West Ham. He definitely scored 1, and either scored 1 and set up another, or he scored both of them against West Ham on New Year's Day. So he's in good form. And then Eze is back from injury. The only thing about Eze is he might only get an hour because he was out for a long time in injury, and he's just back. But I think the 2 of those are overpriced. Like, Eze is 6.5 to 1 for 2 shots on target, which is a monster price if he's in anything like the form he was last season. So those are 2 players to watch out for in the game.
Nice, yeah. I like the look of that.
So, is that your full bet build, or is there more to it?
No, that's 30 to 1. So it's over 10.5 corners, both teams to score. Eze to have 2 shots, so they don't have to be on target, just classed as shots, and Olise to have 2 shots on target.
Okay.
Yep, I'm on that now as well, guys. Nice stuff.
I'm gonna leave off the corners because I always just find that, like, you know, you just throw into the bet. I'm gonna roll a dice and it's gonna be 4 or higher.
That's what it's all about, man. No, I'm actually addicted to corners. It's because there's nothing better when you're at a game and cheering on a corner.
And we should do up a bet builder and then just have like one roll of roulette to be the first leg of the bet builder, and just want red, and then my bet builder after.
Get you started, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, you're inevitably, if it loses, you're just going to do the same bet again and again until you hit your roulette one. And just let it ride.
Any product managers at those online bookies now, you know where to come if you need more golden ideas like this. You can just put up 5 times your stake and just keep playing roulette till you get one of them in.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, very good chance here for Kortrijk. God, I hope they score.
Yeah, I'm just getting 15-1 for the treble, so the Eze 2 shots, Elise 2 shots on target, and both teams to score.
Yeah, because the corner is about even, they're just under even.
Yeah, makes sense.
LB, speaking of long shots, have you seen the Serie B as well, or outsiders? So I'd say an Ascoli Kortrijk double would have been probably 100-1. Like, Ascoli, when I saw them, I think they were 7-1. And they're 2-0 up after like 20 minutes in that game in the Serie B.
Yeah, would you believe it? I actually backed Ascoli earlier, and I'm going to have to take the slap on the wrist for this now because I had a free bet. I had a free bet with Bet365.
New Year, same LB.
Yeah. Oh, come on, getting the bet on is my biggest achievement. Never mind winning it. But it was, but I just got the notification that I got the early payout received, and I'm quite surprised by that. But yeah, they were a big old price. So after time that I did the Ascoli Kortrijk double, and
I'm very surprised that Serie B didn't make it into our treble this week.
You know what? The reason I didn't even mention it is because my Serie B has been absolutely desperate this season. I gave up on it, to be honest, after a couple of maybe weeks or maybe a month and a half into the season. It was just became like a cash bleeder for me. So I kind of left it alone after a couple of seasons of pretty good success on the Serie B. So it just seemed to go against me all the time. So I just saw the big price. I thought, why not take a punt on it?
Is it Bet365 payout when it goes 2-0?
Yeah.
Well, 2 goals up. Could be 3-1 as well. But like,
seeing as it's so early, that is decent. Like, because like
I've had loads of bets that you get the early payout and the bet doesn't win.
Really, yeah.
I mean, loads. I mean, over like 5 years, I've maybe had 10. You know, like especially if you're going to do like doubles and trebles, it's really good because we've all seen it where you've got a treble on and then they're just they're hanging on for dear life at the end, like an underdog. Like here, like Kortrijk had a really good chance a minute ago, and a point I was going to bring up, they didn't really go for the goal, but had they got it and got 2-0 up, there's a depending on when you backed it, there's a 20-1 in the bag after 17 minutes. But Kortrijk had a breakaway and they had a 3-on-3, very, very good chance to go for goal, and amazingly went to the corner flag with 14 minutes on the clock, which is probably the earliest I've ever seen that in my entire life.
Hold it up there for 76 minutes.
I mean, they clearly don't realize.
We'll see from there if we get another opportunity.
Yeah, hanging on. They don't realize that we've got early payouts on Bet365 and how important that second goal could be. So, no dice there, but Bet3. I don't know, Gary. Did they do it on every match, or is it just kind of selected matches?
No, I think it's every football match. I think you can opt out of it though. Like, so you can. The market defaults to the offer, but you can go into a different market that doesn't have the offer and get a slightly enhanced price. Okay. So let's say the bet you were putting on was evens, you might get like 6-5 or 30-10 or something like that if you go without the insurance, basically. So there's a little bit of an increase, but you actually have to actually go or actively go and find that market rather than it just be the default.
Actually, funny is you'd rarely notice Bet365 having worse prices on football matches than most other online bookies anyway. So, it's I've never even noticed them to be particularly worse, and often cases are better. So,
it's great that it translates into ACCAs as well, because usually those concessions are kind of just singles, and you do an ACCA expecting to get it, and it ends up being a sickener, and you have to go back chasing, and you're like, oh, they don't pay out on ACCA. So but I don't think there's even a limit to the amount of legs you can put into an ACCA with Bet365 and still get the offer. So it's fairly good from a punting perspective. And the fact
there is a
you have
limit.
price as well.
There is a limit on the amount of legs you can put into an ACCA full stop. Shamefully, I'm aware of that fact, but we'll leave that one alone, because I tried to add another leg during the college football season and it wouldn't let me. And I was like, oh God, this is a bad sign.
That from when we joined Gamblers Anonymous.
Yeah. When did you know you needed to join? Well, when they wouldn't accept my, I won't say how many legs, but
74 leg ACCA.
Yeah, every game.
With a 1 stake.
Do you remember what that number was? Because it must have been a lot. Yeah. I mean, do you remember there was one Saturday for the 3:00 kickoffs? We went like through all the divisions and just back like over 0.5 or over 1.5 goals. And we thought like we'd be sitting there watching it, and every 30 seconds there'd be a goal going, and we'd be kicking them off like a game of bingo or something. And it was just like, 15 minutes in, they'd say we had 1 goal out of 200.
Every single English match, the National League North and everything.
Yeah, we must
because it was college football. It was a bit late, like they cut it lower, maybe because it's just they don't know it as well. Maybe in soccer you get far bigger ones. I don't know.
I can't remember how many we had, but it was certainly 30 or 40, maybe even 50 games.
I've done that a few times in the Europa League nights when there's like 30 games on. You just back every one of them for a goal or two, and inevitably, there's just one stinker that's just.
I love doing it with the EFL on a Saturday, over 1.5, and I've come fairly close to landing big bets a couple of times. But if you get a good first half, it just makes the second half more really enjoyable, because you're just, you might have 5 or 6 games where you need a goal, but if it's a 0-0 best in the first half, it's just the worst bet ever, because you're sitting there with nothing to cheer on. But yeah, I'm definitely going to do one tomorrow now after talking about it.
Looking at your 50 to 1 ACCA, it'll be about 7,000 to 1 put it on again at half time with the lack of goals.
I was actually wondering that recently with some ACCAs, are you better off letting them run and maybe a few of them will come in, but like generally your ACCAs are going to kind of go wider before they go into the green. Now, I know not always, but I was wondering, would you be better off just leaving it 30 minutes into the game or wait until half time, putting on the same ACCA or what's left available of it? Was it going to be a bigger payoff in general?
The week that you decide to leave it is the week that the goals come in early.
Yeah.
Kortrijk since they went to the corner there, and I think Gent have smelled blood, and they've just been all over them since. Dangerous free kick here that personally I think was a bit of a harsh call. It was a 2-footed slide tackle, but he slid from so far away that it was never really dangerous. But the ref has given a free. But thankfully, the kind of backup Gent forwards don't know where the goal is. So another one that's gone miles wide.
These Dutch games are just back on for the second half now. So we have that double. Well, I don't know if either of you went in on that over 2.5 goals in the Breda Volendam game and over 1.5 in the Eindhoven Utrecht.
I just put it on as a treble. So over 2.5 in both, plus in Gary's one, where if he thinks both teams to score in the Premier League was a banker, I just put over 2.5. Inevitably, it's going to finish 1-1, but did the 3 of those at 32 to 1. So just put a small stake on that.
Yeah, well, there's nothing yet. It's only a few minutes into each game. But yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on them anyway, so I'll let you know if we get a few goals there. At least I can cheer on some goals in the Netherlands, seeing as we want this PSV game to stay 1-1 for 45 minutes.
Yeah, cheering no goals.
The Kortrijk manager here, the Kortrijk had a kind of a counter attack, and then one of the Gent players just threw a leg out and kind of kicked the ball, and he deflected it out for a throw. And the Kortrijk player was just going to wander over to take the throw, obviously catch his breath and all that. And the manager went bananas to get him to hurry up and take a quick throw. So hopefully he's pushing on. He's got a bit of early payout action with Bet365 and is looking to get this 2-goal cushion.
That could be the only thing he's chasing here.
Yeah. But, still 70% possession for Gent here, which just kind of shows how much of the ball they've had.
Sweet goal in the Eindhoven game.
Oh, nice and early.
Yeah,
exactly. So just we picked up a couple of viewers across Facebook and YouTube, and I can't see Twitter, but hopefully we got a few there as well. So we've got a bet on. Slats and Gary will run through what those selections are. My selection is unfortunately void tonight, but we've put a treble on. We put 10 quid on it, so it'll pay about €200. And the most engaged viewer, so just, let us give us comments, let us know what you're watching, what you're betting, any questions, whatever it is, really. We love to chat with you guys. So just drop your comments in, and at the end of the show, the best comment, we'll give that money to, obviously provided if the bet wins. So the guys will talk to their selections now, but just in the meantime, get commenting, let us know what you're watching, betting, etc. Slats, your game is in play. So what's your selection again? Remind us, please.
Yeah, so it's VVV v PSV in the Dutch 2.
That sounded like the CD started to skip there when you
stuttering.
Yeah.
So I backed both teams to score and the result to be a draw. And it was 1-1 at half time. The second half has just kicked off, so it's still 1-1, which is ideal. Both teams have already scored. Got that at about 10-3, and it's into 7-5 now. So yeah, obviously it's looking pretty decent. Lots of time left, but hopefully, things will be kept tight. I think if we kind of get to 70 or 80 minutes, neither of these teams are going to want to lose, which was kind of half the logic for the bet in the first place. They're both on the same points in the league. They're both within touching distance of a playoff spot. But if one of them wins and the other loses, the loser might be a stretch too far for them to reach the playoffs this year. So I think they might get a little cagey laid on. So hopefully it'll stay 1-1. If it goes 2-1, we can kind of cheer on whoever's losing that they come back and get an equalizer. But so far so good anyway on the score draw.
Yep, looking solid. And guys, what about you? You got some EPL action for us?
Yeah, so my bet is actually the same bet. So it's a draw on both teams to score in Brighton versus Palace. So the M23 derby. 3 of the last 5 of these have ended in 1-1 draws. And it's 8 of the last 9 both teams have scored in. So even though overall, when you look at the team's records, you probably wouldn't think it would be a goal fest. I think there will be a goal for each team in the game. It's just over 9 minutes in now. It's been a bit of a scrappy start. Both teams are kind of just sounding each other out. But as I said, goals usually come late in these games. In the last 3 games, there's been 90th minute goals in each of them. So it might be a little bit of a late bloomer. But as I said, I'll keep you updated. That's the bet. I think it was 7-2 when we backed it, and the double is it 18-1 slats or 19-1?
18.5-1, yeah. So our biggest commenter, if it does come in, will get €195 for doing nothing, only watching a bit of our show and dropping a few comments. So certainly worthwhile.
Oh, we got Fabio. You've commented in goal. So you've covered your bases there in terms of the languages. Are you cheering on goals, or is there a goal in particular that you're looking at there? What game, Fabio? Let us know. And love to chat away. For the record, my bet would have been De Poitre to score for Gent tonight. He looks to have picked up COVID right before or tested positive for COVID right before the offs or the kickoff, so he's out. So that bet is void. So it's just taken out of the ACA. Kortrijk are 1-0 up here. They actually had a great chance when you were talking to your bet there, Slats, and somehow just did a ping pong in the box, didn't break their way at the end, and Gent managed to clear. But
I was thinking, LB, if you would happen to go for the same market that we both went for, the score draw, you'd be delighted there with Kortrijk taking that lead, given Gent are still favourites to win it.
5-4 for Gent, 9-4 for the draw, and 11-5 for Kortrijk. So but I mean, the draw, as this rolls on, the draw is going to look more and more likely,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Unfortunate, but yeah, it's still pretty decent odds for the doubles. So I'm happy enough. We've had trebles that have paid less than 18-1.
Yeah.
Our trebles have paid 8, like single figures, 8 or 9-1. So
yeah, exactly. Nothing wrong with that either. But we're still getting pretty good juice for a double. So if it was 2 even shots and we were getting, what does 2 evens pay, about 3 or 4-1, it'd be a little more disappointing. But
but draws are probably the most overpriced, or sorry, you know what I mean, markets out there, because nobody wants to back them. There's no recreational punter going near draws.
No, everyone sides with a team fancies a team to get the win, and people back either side of it. The draw just kind of goes a bit unnoticed a lot.
Yeah, even when you fancy an upset, the upset is rarely a draw that you're thinking of.
That's true as well. Yeah.
But
Although
also,
PK does like his double chance betting, in fairness to him.
So I think there might be a penalty in the Venlo Eindhoven game, Slats.
I can see it's suspended, yeah, and it looks like it's for PSV as well, which isn't ideal. I prefer.
Was the PSV goal earlier the better goal? So would that not apply?
No, it was Venlo that scored first. PSV went down.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. It's not the end of the world, and given our track record of penalties on this show, there's about a 95% chance it's going to be missed. Although I don't know if that only counts when we want the penalty to be scored.
Yeah.
Given that we want it to be missed, it's probably going to go in. So,
in case anyone watching didn't manage to read between the lines, there we've probably seen about 30 penalties over the course of doing this stream, and I'd say the vast majority have been missed. So
amazing record for the amount that are missed.
It was scored though this time.
Yeah, 2-1 to PSV now, so that's disappointing. But if it stays 2-1, once it doesn't go 3-1 or that way, we're all right. We still have a good chance. Hopefully, Venlo will respond well to it.
Yeah, some horror goalkeeping here by the Kortrijk rear guard, but they got away with it. But the ball up in the air, the keeper came way out to punch it straight up, and he was like face to face with his defender who'd come back in, and the ball was coming down between them, and they both spun. So the keeper turned back towards his own goal, and the defender turned out towards the pitch, and the ball just bounced between the back of them. Neither of them saw it. Very dangerous moment, but they got away with it. And but the ball is just back out to the middle of the field here, so we'll see what's going to happen. But getting scrappy now, Gent, for Kortrijk.
This Breda Volendam game has gone very quiet second half. There's only been maybe a shot or two shots off target. It's nearly 15 minutes into the second half now, so that's a bit disappointing. Hopefully it'll pick up a bit of life. I suppose if there was a goal, that is something that could spark a bit of life back into the game. But certainly there was a lot more action in the first half than there has been so far in the second. Hopefully a goal there early, and that'll keep our double alive.
Yep. How are our shooters looking in the Premier League, Gary?
So there was a chance there for Eze, but it got blocked and went out for a throw. It looked like a corner. So this game is still settling down. It was pretty hectic first 15 minutes. Brighton probably should have took the lead. After about 11 minutes, Leandro Trossard, the defender tried to pass it, centre half tried to pass it out to the left back. They got intercepted and fell into the path of Trossard. He went through his 1-1 with the keeper, or 1-on-1 with the keeper, and he made a good save. Probably should have scored, but it was a decent save. So that's been the only real clear-cut chance. A lot of this game is kind of scrappy in midfield, but if it settles down, it has the look of a good one. So fingers crossed, the the second half of the first half will be a little bit calmer than the crash bang wallop in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah. Not sure if anyone's watching the German football. Dortmund 3-0 up at half time. That feels like a pretty inevitable scoreline there for those. So didn't back anything myself there, but it's hardly surprising.
I went in to look at having a bet on that, but a lot of the markets were just, I think Dortmund were like 1-5, 2-5 for over 2.5 goals.
Yeah, there was no value there.
So there was nothing that really stuck out. I did see that Haaland was evens for 3 shots on target, so I thought that might be decent, but I don't even know whether he started or not. So
I
actually started all right, but he's not on the score sheet yet anyway. So
I actually find the Bundesliga is even worse value than the Premier League for bets. They're just, the prices are so low on almost every team you've ever heard of in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, it's very difficult to, I think I got a bet on Munich away from home for Munich to win and both teams to score, just because, Munich are quite likely to keep a clean sheet. And that's where I was kind of eking a bit of value out of that. This home side, they were toward the bottom of the table, but they were good for getting a goal. But you kind of really need to go digging for it, because just for the favourites to win and a lot of goals in the game is always really poorly priced. I think Dortmund, you would have had to back over like 4.5 goals and Dortmund to win to actually be getting a decent price. Like,
Yep.
I know Derma was saying about this League One game for another favourite of your markets, LB, to back under 2.5 goals. So far, it's looking good. It's only 20 minutes in now, but it's still 0-0, and there hasn't been a huge amount. Nice seem to be dominating a little, but there hasn't been a whole lot of chances either way. Still early, but yeah, under 2.5 could have been the right shout there, and keep an eye on that as well.
Yeah, and for anyone who's watching, the Dermot that Slats is referring to there, he's our League One expert on SportsRunDown.com, so he has a weekly article up there. It's not up this week yet, but he'll have it no doubt, and he has it most weeks. It's it's really an unbelievable run so far this season. I say run makes it sound like it's not entirely deserved. He's very knowledgeable when it comes to French football betting, so you make sure to get over there and track his bets. A little bit disjointed lately because of the COVID. It's having its impact in France like it is in every other country. So, but when the season is back into full swing, he'll have a weekly article up there, and it's a really good French football insight. So make sure to head over to sportsrundown.com and keep an eye on those.
Yeah, it's well in profit for the season anyway. So.
Oh yeah, but sorry, did you say earlier, by the way, Slash, that Helmand game is not on? It was
postponed. Yeah, I looked into it. Yeah, it was postponed. I don't know why. I think everyone's first guess these days would be something COVID related, but yeah, it's postponed, so it wasn't delayed like I was kind of hoping. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for it because it could still be worth a bet whenever they do end up replaying it. But who knows? If not done that yet, anyway. Venlo have been, trying to fight back into this game now. They've had a couple of shots on target and plenty of possession over the last 5 minutes or 5 or 10 since the goal, since going down 2-1. So good to see anyway. Like they're trying to get themselves back into it. So hopefully we'll see an equaliser there.
Yeah, Ascoli have scored a third goal now, so that's in the bag. Even if you're not with Bet365, you'd be very happy with that.
I saw that, and the stats aren't hugely in their favour. They've like 40% of the possession. It's 4-0 corners to Ternana, 27 dangerous attacks to 11, 9 shots to 6. Like, if you were just looking at those stats, you wouldn't be thinking that Ascoli are winning that at all. Never mind 3-0.
Yeah,
they've only had 3 shots on target.
Yeah, well, I mean, Kortrijk have only had 1 here and they're winning this game. Gent have had 12 shots, all off target. Kortrijk have had 1 on target and scored. So,
impressive.
There's no fans at this match, by the way. COVID regulations in Belgium, it's rare. It's raging over there again. So I'd say the fans are quite pleased. This time of the year now in Belgium, it'll be Baltic. So you're sitting at home, you could just go, all right, screw this. But if you were in the stadium watching this, you'd be a very unhappy Gent. And
especially it's home fans. Like, I suppose it'd be worse if you travelled away and you were getting hockey, I suppose.
Yeah. So that's it for the moment. What's on the clock here now? 36 minutes, so 10 till half time. Hopefully, like I said, for my own sake, I'd love Kortrijk to get that second one before the break. They're doing a really good job here defending. Like I kind of mentioned that the harsh treatment they've been getting, and it looks like they've kind of stepped up into it, kind of a siege mentality type thing. They're defending really well, and a lot of the shots have been from quite a distance. So, good news there for anyone who's backed the upset.
That's promising. All right, you just would wonder how they would fare if Gent did get one back. Are they still in the match? Or are they just kind of clinging on to this lead?
Yeah,
for 60 minutes or whatever.
You'd have to say emotionally they'd probably just wilt.
But you were saying like they've had a few chances since going up 1-0 as well. So it's not.
Yeah, they really have. Like I mean. Very disheartening to see them go to the corner flag on the 14th minute, but other than that, they've had chances, and it's one of those ones that Gent are obviously missing some of their own stars, certainly their 2 best forwards, and I've seen it countless times with teams that I support, and they're, you've just, when you got all the pressure, all the ball, like 75% possession, 12 shots to 1, players drift out of position, and then all of a sudden you get very easily caught on the counter. So hopefully, like I said, for Kortrijk fans, that's what happens here. And just a reminder, we picked up a few new viewers again across the 3 platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Make sure to like the page or subscribe or follow. It's a huge help to us when people do that. We really appreciate it. And as the guys have mentioned earlier in the show, we're giving away potentially €200 if the bet that we have on here wins. So make sure to drop your comments in so we know you're watching, and we'll give the prize to the best or most comments. So Fabio, hopefully you're still with us. You're the only commenter on YouTube so far, so you've got that side of it wrapped up. But anyone else still watching, make sure to get commenting there as well.
Everybody's very quiet tonight, so
the January blues maybe, but
well, we said 190 quid would be a good way to get rid of those January blues. So get commenting, and all we need is 3 goals at the minute. So
yeah, very good point, Gary. And even if you're not interested in winning the money, just let us know what you've backed, what you're watching. If you have any questions, we're watching plenty of games here ourselves, so we love to chat with people about these things. So looking forward to the input. How's the Dutch games looking, Slats?
Pretty much the same. Venlo, have been on top since going down 2-1, which is promising for the treble bet. The goal bets we had a nice early goal from Eindhoven. There's been plenty more chances in that game, and I only need one more for that leg. But unfortunately, the Breda Volendam game went very quiet. Breda did have a few shots in the last couple of minutes, but it's pushing 70 minutes, 68 minutes now, and it's still 0-0, and we need 3 goals there. So I'm losing a bit of hope there. We've spoken about how there can be a plethora of late goals in Dutch too. Eindhoven have gone up 2-0, so at least that leg of the bet is in. But yeah, really need a goal pretty soon in this Volendam match. And I do think if either of these sides go down 1-0, they'll take a few risks and go for broke. But we need that first goal to come soon if that bet is in with any chance.
Gary, you had a phrase earlier about go for broke, like all action or bang or something like that. I'd never heard it before, but it was actually quite a good phrase. Yeah, say that again.
Crash bang wallop.
I've never heard those 3 words together like that before.
My father used that.
I've heard that already. Crash bang wallop.
But I would
it's
imagine
it's a bit like bish bash bosh, kind of, isn't it, Gary?
Yeah, but that's not what I'd expect to describe a football match. Like I like.
No, but I think it's a very kind of Englishy sort of phrase that way as well. Like
I'd imagine it is how people would describe those old Batman shows when kapow, bush, bash, whatever. Corner here for Kortrijk. They had a great kind of counter attack. The guy just slightly overran it. Maybe it was good defended by Gent at the same time. Turned into a corner here, so hopefully they can.
Are they just going to have 2 players out in the corner, tap it to each other, and hold it up there?
Yeah, I would not be surprised.
It's still the Brighton match is going the way I kind of expected anyway. Brighton are absolutely dominating possession, but when Palace get the ball, they look dangerous on the counter attack. Corners are starting to tick along nicely now. There wasn't many in the first few minutes, but there's been 2 now, so that will creep along. We could just do a few shots from the Palace players to bring the bet builder into contention.
Yeah, all the shots have been from Brighton so far, have they?
Yeah, Brighton, as I said, they've dominated possession. They've had the best chances. They have a corner here now, swung in. The defender got a header to it, but I think a free kick has been given. He kind of pushed he was the centre half up for a corner. He pushed the Palace defender, got his header away. The keeper made a good save, but the ref has given a free out. Just seeing it again. Yeah, he pushed him in the back, so you can't get away with that. But yeah, it could probably do with a goal to liven the game up for the neutrals. But I think for our bet, it's probably decent enough. You want Brighton to take the lead after about kind of half an hour and Crystal Palace to go all out, or Palace to get a goal kind of midway through the second half and sit back and let Brighton come on to them. So I think it's going to be a long slog for this bet to land.
I think so.
But there's value on waiting for it as well. So
Yeah. Just quickly, lads, if you want to give us your bid your adieus there, and we'll have to change the personnel. I'm technically limited here at the moment, so I can't do a prolonged goodbye.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I'll leave you go. And yeah, good to be back in the new year, and looking forward to the coming weeks. So nice one. Hopefully, we'll see some of these bets come in.
Yeah. Take care, lads.
So LB, sorry, just before you introduce PK, see that we have a comment in from James Noble on Facebook. So he's asking, will Gent win? He's saying he has 100 for Gent to score the second goal. So
you'd be a happy man because Gent have literally just scored as you were talking there. Yeah,
nice
so it is gone 1-1. So congratulations, James. Perfect timing there from a corner. It's another one that I wouldn't be too happy about if I was me personally, I'm not too happy with it. I'm happy for you, Mr. Noble, but it was Gent kind of got a free that built up to giving him the corner, and the free was very soft again. Corner was just a shambles from the Kortrijk point of view. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys on the line, including the keeper, and the rebound from the corner was just buried. So that's gone 1-1. Gent have had 70% of the ball. They've had 13 shots to Kortrijk's 2. I'd say this game is just going to go very, very one way from now on. Just before that goal, Gent had gone out to 2-1 and another 4-7. So I think that's
hopefully James got on the 2-1 anyway. Looked like he was looking at that market, and he's just put in the 3 flames into the chat as well. So obviously happy with that goal. Let us know what else you're backing for this evening, James, and the comments get you entered into the competition to win our bet. So if our bet lands, that's the draw and both teams to score in the VVV and Jong PSV game, and the draw on both teams to score in Brighton Palace. If that lands, the best comment or the most interactive person will win 195 euro. So we'll send that to you if you win. Just as I was saying that, Jong PSV have gone 3-1 up, so that's actually a bummer for our bet, but it was a really good goal. So
one more comment to read out before we get to the introduction. Sat Medani on YouTube, you've just said one more goal, please, Breda. So you're obviously watching the Dutch football there as well. So yeah, our Dutch football expert has been replaced by our general European football expert, PK. So the perfect time to introduce you. Welcome back, PK. Happy New Year.
Same to you guys. How's everything?
Yeah, good, PK.
Very good. I was happily cheering on the underdogs here in Belgium, but Gent have just come back and scored, as you heard us discussing a moment ago. So
was it James Noble's timing was perfect?
Perfect. Yeah, actually, on that point, James, just by all means, keep hit us up on Twitter. Let us know what you've backed, and we'll make sure to jump straight on because your timing is impeccable there.
Well, James actually just come back there, and he's asking about tips in the Brighton game, and he's saying the under 2.5 goals seems safe. So my bet here, actually, James, is a draw on both teams to score. So 7 or 8 of the last 9 games between Brighton and Crystal Palace has seen both teams score, and 3 of the last 5 have ended in a 1-1 draw. And a lot of those games have seen late action as well. So in the last 3 games, there's been 2 90th minute goals and an 89th minute goal. So I think there could be some goals in the second half. Whether there's going to be 3 or not, I don't think so. So the under 2.5 is probably a decent bet. But I still haven't given up hope on draw on both teams to score. And if you want to be a bit more conservative and just go for the draw, I still think that's a cracking bet. I'd say you probably get about 2-1. I'll go and check on it now. But I don't think there's much. It's 9-5. I don't think there's much between these teams, and Brighton aren't the most clinical team in the world. So even though they're going to dominate the game, I don't think they'll pull 2 or 3 clear. So even if they score, Palace will always have a shout. So that's the way I've looked at it. I've also done a bet builder. So the main part of that is Michael Olise for Palace to have 2 shots on target. It was 4-1 before the start of the game. It's half an hour in, he hasn't had a shot on target. So I'd say you probably get 8 or 9-1 on that now if you wanted to tail. So they're the tips that I have and what I've backed.
We have another comment in on YouTube from Messi Masood. You've asked update on the Excelsior game, guys. I put my money on Excelsior FC to win. So that game is currently 0-0, 0-0 Excelsior against the Graafschap. Excelsior
Yeah.
drifting like a barge here. They were 7-2 when Gary started talking, then 4-1, now 9-2. So certainly a big price there. Let us know, Messi, what odds you got. You were going to say something there, PK, sorry.
Yeah, I was just looking at that game actually after I seen the comment, and Graafschap have the second best away record in that league, so it's a bet I probably would have avoided with a bit of if I was selecting myself, but maybe he has an affinity to Excelsior in that regard. So they're pretty decent at home too, but it's as the odds suggested pre-match, it's a pretty close game to call. So I mean, it's
8-13 now for the draw with a little over 10 minutes to go. So
yeah, it's
I mean, a late home winner is not beyond possibility. For you guys with the comments, hopefully you appreciate the feedback, and if you do, we'd really love it if you could like and subscribe to the pages. It makes a huge difference to us here. So yeah, like a bit of positive feedback there, and hopefully you can get on these tips and pick up a few winners, or even on your own bets like Excelsior here and grab a couple of wins.
I suppose. So while we're talking about competitions, I know we're a football show tonight, but on the website we also do cover NFL. So we have an NFL competition running at the moment. So if you're into NFL, go onto our site. You'll see the NFL competition. It's for the playoffs. So basically, you have to predict a couple of markets for each game in the NFL playoffs, including the Super Bowl. And whoever has the most points at the end wins. The winner gets a jersey, a beanie hat, and a baseball cap for a team of their choice. So I said we won't spend too much time on it now because we're the football show tonight. But if you do have an interest in NFL, go check that out or check out our Twitter and Facebook posts. You'll see more details there.
Could win you a nice Mahomes jersey like this.
Exactly, PK.
Oh.
Exactly.
Not coming out for the next 3 weekends. Sorry, go ahead, LB.
Plenty of seats beside you at the bar, PK. Plenty of space. Halftime here in Belgium now, 1-1, and I think that game is probably gone from anyone who's looking for an upset. And from our point of view with the treble, obviously it's a void bet, so nothing too much there for us. Do you have any bets on yourself this evening, PK? Anything you're?
I heard earlier in the stream you discussing French football. I've done. I did both teams to score double in the French game and the Dortmund game, so the Nice-Nantes game and the Dortmund. Dortmund are 3-0 up. I assume they normally concede, and Freiburg are the second best away team record in the league. So I the stats aren't good, but I still think Dortmund will take the foot off the gas as the second half goes on, and Freiburg should grab one, and then it's already 1-0 to Nice. So and the stats aren't great in that one either, but I'm just hoping no one to pull one out of nowhere.
You picked Nice to win in that one, I presume, yeah? Nice to win and both teams to score.
No, just both teams to score double.
Okay. That's ideal then. There, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, it's not the biggest odds bet, but I obviously followed your bet as well earlier.
Here's a question for you, PK. Put your knowledge on the spot. So James is back on Facebook with a comment. Is Leverkusen the best away record? I would have assumed Bayern, but I don't know much about German football. So is it?
I think it's Bayern. Yeah, I think it's Bayern. I'll check it right now, but I do believe it's Bayern with the best away record.
While PK is checking that, I'll kind of comment on James's earlier comment around he wasn't so sure on Palace scoring with Zaha missing. So yeah, like Zaha and Ayew were going to the AFCON, so that's obviously a miss. But if you look at who scored Palace's goals recently, it's spread around through Edouard, Benteke, Olise has started scoring goals recently. So Gallagher has 6, Edouard has 5, Benteke has 4, Olise has 2. So there is a good spread of goals within the Palace team. As I've been talking, VAR have just given a penalty to Brighton, it looks like.
Yeah.
Wait to see who's going to take that. Probably going to be Maupay.
Rose, is it, I think?
The sports rundown curse continues. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. So again, for anyone watching, there's probably been now about 41 penalties watched on the show here, and it's at least 80% of them are missed, probably even higher. and Brighton have failed to score that penalty.
It's one of the worst penalties. It's one of the worst penalties I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Pascal Gross.
I've literally no idea what he was trying to do. He didn't look confident, and he just that's awful.
Do you know, for me, like that's the captains, like how they let a guy who looks as uncomfortable as he looked there stepping up take a penalty. Like, you know, when you're watching at home, he's going to miss. You can see him uncomfortably walking up to take it. That was a.
The Palace fans did well though. Like, you know, they threw a smoke bomb onto the pitch. You know, they made a good delay there. I think that's the key
part of the game.
If you can delay the player long enough. And
I don't think we should be here encouraging such activity, but you know, it worked apparently.
Yeah. Well, they got a corner from it, and
it's going to VAR. But yeah, there's a ball in the back of the net, yeah.
Yeah. While VAR is reviewing that, we've got a comment back on YouTube. Messi, you're back. I've never watched AFCON so closely, but it's been very low scoring. The games I've bet on have ended 0-0 at halftime. Yeah, it's been incredibly low scoring. I think AFCON is usually fairly low scoring kind of competition, which is strange considering how many great strikers the continent produces. But yeah, as a competition, it's never really lights up, certainly not in the group stages or the early stages. Hopefully you're back in 0-0 at halftime or under first half goals. So if you want to let us know what you're betting there, that would be interesting. But yeah, personally, I stay away from it. I try to not bet too much on any international football. You know, when the nations are playing each other, it's just, for me personally, I never do too well. It's a bit hard to predict as well. So try to avoid it.
Is it a thing? Is it a rule that if the keeper has both hands on it, you can't tackle the ball?
Yeah,
I think that's what's happened here. Butland has
the keeper's in
control. He hadn't got the ball firmly in his hands. It was kind of. I think he was going to drop the ball.
It looks that way, but he does have kind of both hands on it at the time that he touches him. So I'm kind of expecting this one to be taken off. Mm-hmm. It's a weird one. I think it's the first time it's gone to VAR for something like this, but the ref's actually going to have a look at it, I think. So.
Yeah, while the ref is checking that, we got a comment in on Facebook from MN Islam asking us how many corners is the Borussia Dortmund game looking, or how many total corners. And James is very, very friendly of you, very helpful. You've answered the question there in the comments. So 6-1 in favour of Dortmund versus Freiburg. So yeah, 6 corners to Dortmund, 1 to Freiburg. So yeah, if you've done, over corners there, that looks pretty good. It's 7 already. If you've done Dortmund to win the race to corners, that looks good as well. So yeah, let us know what you're following there. And thanks to James.
It doesn't make much of a difference, but my stats are showing 7 for Dortmund and 0 for Freiburg. Obviously it's still the same thing. But yeah, just it does make a difference if you've got the over backed. But some people will be doing the bets of each team to have 4 corners in the game or whatever. So might make a difference for that, and you might just want to check around to see what the valid stats are. I checked it up on Betfair. So
Bet365 has 7-1, so maybe there's been another one to Dortmund since James put that in. But
yeah,
it
looks like 7-1 as well.
Yeah, there's other 7 or 8 corners so far, and they're all pretty much in favour of.
Yeah, and MN Isdan is asking plus 9.5. So it looks a banker. So it's priced up at 1 to 18 at the moment. Over 10.5 is 2 to 7. So if you've got 9.5 backed already,
good.
Yeah, you're looking pretty good. So yeah, I can't see it not coming in. But corners is a weird market that they kind of come in fits and spurs. So
yeah. Messi, you said thanks for the response and the insights. Yeah, absolutely, our pleasure. I love chatting with people about this stuff. So yeah, you're more than welcome, and we'll hopefully see you here on a few future Fridays, and we'll have similar conversations then.
Yeah, don't forget to subscribe, Messi, if you haven't subscribed already. So I see you're on YouTube. If you click that subscribe button, it helps us a lot. So thanks for that.
Yeah, we'd love that. Tomorrow, any tips for tomorrow's Man City versus Chelsea game? I've went a simple under 3.5 goals on a treble. Just James again, so under 3.5. So yeah, let us know what the rest of that treble is. You're like PK and Dermot on our website. You love the unders bets. Personally, I find them very hard to cheer on, but I mean, under 3.5 there looks like a very smart bet to me. Chelsea look to be getting back on track, and low scoring games has become their specialty under Tuchel. So that looks like a smart bet.
It's not the kind of game I'd like to get involved in from that point of view, though. I mean, Chelsea and Liverpool played a very open game recently. I know Chelsea are good defensively, but when they come up against a good attacking unit, I think Liverpool showed that they have a propensity to still concede goals. I mean, I don't know. I'd be afraid of that bet personally.
Well, let us know to change the rest of the treble, and we'll keep going. Sorry, Gary, I cut you off there. Apologies.
Yeah, no, so I actually like it, like the under in that game as well, given, and it's a little bit superstitious, but I think those 12:30 kickoffs can be a bit of a drag. And two top teams going against each other at 12:30, I can see it shaping up to be a bit of a boring game. So yeah, I think the under is a fairly solid bet. I actually have a treble on of 12:30 games already. So James, if you're looking for our tips, basically if you go on to sportsrundown.com, you'll see we cover the English Football League. So I do the English Football League. We have a contributor, Enzo, who's based in Italy, and he covers the Serie A. We've Dermot, who isn't based in France, but covers Ligue 1, and he's our Ligue 1 expert. Liam, who's here, LB, he covers our Champions League and Europa League bets. So if you go on there, you'll see all of our tips. They're published every week, and we give explanations for them as well. Two that didn't make it into my EFL tomorrow, but I think it's a good bet, is Bournemouth and Blackburn. So both in the Championship, both at 12:30, both away from home. I think they're priced up around 13-10 each, and I think it's a cracking double. So if you're looking to treble it up with your under and stick Blackburn and Bournemouth in, I think they're way overpriced.
Yeah, thanks for that insight, Gary. And anyone who is new to the site, Gary's got a pretty good record at the EFL as well. Landed a couple of big ACCAs this season, so again, another one well worth trailing those tips, or at least copying a few of them. Teams just come back out here for the second half in the Belgium Gent versus Kortrijk game, so should be kicking off in a minute or two.
No one scored for part of my bet. Any of the one I advised when I come on. Sorry, it was a bit of a late one, but that's both teams have scored in that game now. So and it's half time. So I'm just waiting on a Freiburg goal now for to land that double.
Very good, yeah. So that's both teams to score in the League 1. So Nice versus Nantes. Very good stuff, PK. It is. By the way, we didn't actually talk about it, but that Brighton goal looks to have been ruled off. So the referee obviously went over and reviewed it himself, did he?
Yep, he did, and he gave a foul. So
yeah, I think it's a bit strange that it was disallowed. I wouldn't have disallowed it, but yeah.
I didn't see it, but the refs are very, very soft on keepers, really, aren't they? Anything to do with the keeper is going to be given his way.
I think the rule is that you can't touch the ball when the keeper has both hands on it. And the thing was, when it hit Mope, he was touching it with both hands. So I think that's why they give it as a foul.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the rule, that's the rule. James, you come back to the rest of the treble. So that under 3.5, Lewandowski to score within 90 minutes, and both teams to score Sampdoria versus Torino, and then a risky single to Villa to win or draw. So double chance on Villa, and then that treble. Yeah, both teams to score Sampdoria, Torino. I like to look at that. Wonder what odds. If you let us know what odds you got for that, definitely like to look at that. And then, Lewandowski and then the under. So that's a nice broad European treble you've got on there. So yeah, certainly plenty to cheer on over the weekend. See when Enzo's our Sports Rundown Enzo contributor gets his Serie A up, what's he included for if he's picked the Sam Torino game as well. That'd be interesting to see any overlap there.
I think Enzo's bet is already up, Elby.
Was it? I must have missed that. Apologies.
Yeah, no, he's got a very good headline that caught my eye. It's back Xhaka for another smacka. That was pretty good.
That's not cheesy at all.
No. Well, we love a cheesy headline or a pun on Sports Rundown. yeah, that game didn't make it in, so he's gone for Sassuolo Verona, so he's gone for Xhaka anytime scorer, Roma Calgary, Roma to win and both teams to score, and then Bologna Napoli, Napoli just to win at evens, which seems a big price about Napoli. So if you're looking for a Serie A bet, say go on to SportsRunDown.com and it's all explained on there why he's picked those out. But the Roma win part of that bet seems to be massive. There, they've won 6 of their last 7 games, haven't they?
Did you see the Roma Juve game there earlier in the week?
Yeah, lots went on there.
If Roma play like that opening half or opening 30 minutes, if they play like that against a team that's not Juve, Inter, or Napoli, they're going to rip them apart. So,
but didn't Juve win that in the end, 3-2 or something?
Roma just fell apart then later on.
And they had a man sent off after about 75 minutes as well. But
but if you watch the opening, 20 minutes, they were unbelievable. So, you think that hopefully they can replicate that for anyone backing them.
I just saw Mourinho's comments after basically just berating the team for being weak, which is classic Mourinho style. But he seems to have to play some good stuff anyway. And Abraham has finally got banging into goals, because earlier on in the season, Tammy was, I think he had lots of chances but wasn't really scoring, and now he seems to be converting those chances. So,
he was a bit of a fan favorite. When he arrived briefly, he scored a couple of important goals and then massively went off the boil. And I think he was kind of, losing the crowd a bit, but he's back on top now. So looking sharp. Hopefully she went back that
Freiburg scored.
Sorry,
lovely stuff.
Once it's in my head, and this is a kind of a shameless plug for one of our partners, but we do kind of get some special offers in from some bookmakers from time to time. And Boyle Sports are doing a promotion this weekend where they're essentially enhancing all of their prices. So they're historically they've been top price compared to Paddy Power. So they're going best price over Paddy Power this weekend. And there's a special offer on our site that if you sign up and bet £10, you get £30 in free bets. So if you are thinking about having more bets on the Premier League and you haven't got a Boyle Sports account already, you can avail of that free £30 in free bets. And if you do have an account already, well then have a look at Boyle Sports when you're comparing your bookmakers, because they're going to be top price across the weekend. So just to put that out there.
Yep, thanks for that, Gary. Congratulations, PK. You've got that bet landed when you came on, and we can, the underdogs hadn't scored, so we can give you an after time and pass on that one, because really Dortmund scoring was no surprise to anybody. So what price was that double?
It came out at just around 2-1. After
very nice.
Sorry, PK. I didn't mean to rob your glory there. I didn't really understand that Freiburg had handed your bet, so apologies for that.
No, very harsh, Gary. Very harsh.
No, I don't. I'm not bothered at all. The only glory I need is in my betting account.
I was going to say, you can sit there counting that cash, PK. There's no problem whatsoever. Yeah.
Good 20 minutes to start the stream for me, anyway.
Very good.
I'm searching now for in-play bets, because obviously that's the main of that gone. So I'll find something.
Kortrijk have started the second half very well, by the way. We are the best part of 5 minutes in to the second half, maybe 4 minutes in. Dangerous free kick here, at the edge of the box, but over by the sideline. Already a yellow card separate to this for Gent. Kortrijk have just looked, maybe they've just gone back in, gathered themselves at halftime and realised, maybe they're not the underdogs in this game to the extent that they were told they should be. So, again, for Kortrijk backers, this would be a very pleasant surprise to start the second half, even though they're huge underdogs. I do realise we got a comment in, James, maybe, was it you? Someone said to us earlier in the show that they'd backed Gent. So obviously for anyone who's backed Gent, we don't want the Kortrijk win there. But
I'm just seeing that Kortrijk have won the last 3 head-to-heads in that matchup too. So
if they didn't have the COVID issues and the AFCON issues, I would be all over them. Like we said, they're 8-1 now. They were they were they just inside 6-4 at one point during the game. They were 20-1 at the start of the week. So I think the odds were slightly overreactionary there.
Okay, so they lost a lot of players to the AFCON and
yeah. They haven't had a training session since Christmas because of COVID. But a lot of the players have come back. Just they had a last-minute negative test and they got the team back together. It looked like at one stage during the week they only had four senior players not either injured in the AFCON or testing positive. But now a lot of them got back quite late. So, we'll see how it goes. I did kind of say it before the game started. My read was that they would be quite poor at the start. Having not really trained or anything since, but once they got back into the swing of it, they might sharpen up. So maybe we'll see how the second half goes.
James said he might catch out at the 60th or 70th minute. So obviously he got on when they were 1-0 down and they were a decent price.
Yeah, good thinking there, James. I like that. I suppose the flip side is the Kortrijk could tire, but I wouldn't be hugely confident having Gent on. And Gent have a lot of their 2-star forwards are both away. One has COVID and one's in Africa. So, you're relying on guys who don't really score to score. It's always a bit of a risk.
Yeah, and I just pulled the trigger on a 16-1 second half bet. So I'm sticking with my guns in the Brighton game. That'd be a draw. So I'm not putting the both teams to score in there because I have both teams scoring all of my bets. But a Brighton draw. I'm going for Nice to win against Nantes and Kilmarnock to win against Partick Thistle. So 16-1. Kilmarnock seem well in that game, and Nantes seem a decent price. They've gone out to 23-20, but they were pretty solid favourites beforehand. So
yeah, and just in typical commentators' course here, Gent have scored 2-1 up. So great stuff there for James.
James won't be cashing out anyway.
No, very simple goal. Did you see a PK?
No, I'm not watching them.
Just an unmarked cross whipped into the box, basically into the penalty spot, and then the Gent forward got up and just buried it. I don't know who is number 7 for Gent, and keeper rooted to the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Kortrijk players taken out of the game with that cross. So yeah, I think that's the end of this one now. From 1-0 down to 1-0 up to 2-1 down. I think they're done there with the issues they've had off the pitch. So yeah, very good news there for you, James. And I think this game is as good as wrapped up. Sorry, Gary, we kind of cut off your treble a bit there, but it sounds like
while I was talking through it, I saw the suspension, so I knew it was coming anyway. But yeah, sorry. So it's Kilmarnock to win versus Partick. It's Nice to win at home to Nantes, and then a draw in the Brighton and Palace game. So 16-1. So hopefully, fingers crossed. That gives us an interest for the second half. Unfortunately, our all action ACA is dead. So Jong PSV ended up running out 4-1 winners in that game. They scored 2 really good goals in the second half there to kill that, but it ended up being a double for us. So yeah, I had to reload for an interest in the second half.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on Nice as well. I think it's 6-5. I think they're judging by the stats and the table standings and form. I think they're a good bet.
Yeah, you said Nice earlier on, or something. Oh, sorry, Gary, you said Nice at the top of the show. You like to look at Nice, so I know it's been mostly Brighton and they've had their chances in this game, but I'd be getting tempted myself to put a sneaky small bet on Palace here at 4-1. I often feel in games when things don't go your way, it compounds. They had a penalty, they missed it. They had a goal that was ruled out. Often in games like that, I just think, I might go the other way here now. So, I mean, they've had their chances and just luck's not been on their side. So I might actually go with a small bet on Palace. And,
Palace do pose a threat, and I think they still have Benteke to come back on as well. So.
Yeah. And you like Kilmarnock, Gary, 3-1, they've gone out to there.
James has just put in that he's got Kilmarnock to win as well. So we all seem to be on them anyway.
Yeah, I know it's a long shot, but Nice, Kilmarnock and Palace treble is 41-1. So just floating that out there for anyone. I might actually just put a small stake on that. Yeah. He's on a group score, James. I see that 1-0, 2-0, or 2-1. That reminds me, maybe I don't even know if it's still on Betfair, but like the old pools thing, and you could, what do they call it, Millionaire. Michael Owen was flogging it for a while, and you had to pick games every week, and you could pick multiple scores in the game. And do you remember that?
No, I've never done that. No.
Oh, it was great. Never won a penny off it, but it was great. So you could pick, like, it might pick 5 Premier League games, or 4 Premier League and a championship or something like that, and you pick like combinations of correct scores. You maybe pick 1-0 in all of them. You might pick 1-1 in the Chelsea game and things like that. And if they all landed, it was huge prizes for it. Well, just me then.
But even if you went to the bookies and you put on an accumulator of 5 correct scores, there'd be huge odds.
Yeah, but what was different about it is you could put 2 in one game or 3 in one. It was like a pick 6 or a play spot. But for
play spot, so your selections multiplied or whatever your state.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I get you.
I used to love the one from each sections. They don't do them anymore, but I thought they were good, like, because it was kind of a challenge. Like the first section was really easy. It all 1 to 20 shots in it, and then it kind of got gradually harder and harder.
Would always fall at the first. It'd be like Celtic at home 1 to 17, and I'd have them and they'd draw 0-0. And then the next week it'd be, Bayern Munich at home, and they'd be their one loss at home of the season. And so I hated it because I never got past the massive odds-on section. No,
I had a fairly good record, and it was kind of a challenge because you felt like you were coming up against the bookies traders, especially because they always put in a dodgy 1 or 2 into the favourites market as well, that way. So
for mugs like me, that's what. Mugs like me then pick up those ones.
In the Kilmarnock game here.
Who?
To Kilmarnock. Go Kilmarnock.
Oh, lovely, great stuff.
Very nice. Did you put on that treble, LB?
Did.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, because they were well in that game, so I was surprised it was such a big price. The bookie seemed to think it was going towards a draw. The draw was evens at half time, so nice to get that goal on the board.
That's not an indication of an exciting match if it's 0-0 at half time and the draw is even money. That is not a high octane one up there in the Highlands. God, you're looking at the stats here for Brighton. So they've had 8 shots for Brighton and 1 for Palace, so they're very much the underdogs in this one here. Ternana have pulled one back in the Serie B, but that game is as good as over. 3-1 up in 70-odd minutes gone.
I think they could be about to pull 2 back, though, are they? I think they might have a penalty.
Oh, do they?
I think they might have a penalty here, yeah.
Let me get it on. Let me flick it on here.
I think it's an Ascoli penalty, actually. So it's going to go 4-1.
Oh, yeah, it is an Ascoli penalty.
It's going to be an Ascoli penalty.
Yeah, it's a penalty. I'm looking at it there. He did everything. He was like a long jumper trying to get into the box, but he did get into the box and then fouled. But yeah, I mean, he did take him out and about 2 meters away from the ball when he took him. So no complaints there.
It's a very neon yellow football, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the old ones.
Yeah, it actually matches.
Playing in this fog. It's gaudy out, isn't it? Let's see. Now we're going to finally see a live penalty scored on the live stream here in a long time.
Surely he scores it.
Oh no. The ref is blown to hold up there. He's booking someone. What did the Ternana players? Just ran through the box, did he?
I think so.
Who was he booking? But it's like the Crystal Palace hijinks earlier on. You just delay it and upset the spot kicker.
It's the best tactic for when the pen is against you.
Yeah, incredibly unsportsmanlike, but whatever. If it's your team, you're all for it, and if it happens to you, you'd be going bananas.
Yeah, exactly.
Ref has absolutely no control over this now. There's about a melee now going on here. What live bets do you have on PK?
I'm searching away here. I did back Nice, but I'm searching away here, trying to find stuff. But I haven't got anything at the moment. I normally like the Northern Irish games for goals, especially in the second half, but I mean, it's a second division game between Newry and H&W Welders. So, I mean, I know nothing and the stats aren't great. Although Newry seem to be all over them and they're 1-0 down, so that's a double chance proposition.
Mm-hmm.
5
The
corners
ref
to
is VAR have gotten involved in the Serie B here now and moved that penalty out of the box. It was on the line, but he's moved it out to a free kick on the line, and they have buried the free kick. Well, the keeper saved it and he buried the rebound. So that's a bit of lovely to see there. 4-1.
Yeah, it looked to be a penalty all day long. Like,
yeah, I mean, I remember having gotten into so many arguments in the pub about this. If a foul starts outside the box and continues into the box, it's the referee's choice whether it's a free or a penalty. So I don't know why he bothered to move that one back out. I mean, maybe the forward, like we said, making such an effort to just get his foot inside the box to be fouled. But Ascoli, very professional there, managed to just score directly from that free. The total goals went on Bet365 went from suspended to over 4.5 when the free kick was awarded, and then obviously scored instantly. So it was even money. If anyone managed to get on that in that 30 seconds, you'd be very, very happy with that. It's now evens for a 6th goal there.
I did Newry double chance at 4-5 in the what's the name of that game? The Northern Irish second division or whatever it is. I mean, I couldn't, judging by stats, but I couldn't see anything else. So I just took a wee punt on that.
So are they 1-0 down, PK?
Yeah.
Yeah, because James is in here and he says both teams have scored for Newry City versus Harland in the NIC, so the Northern Ireland Conference, or whatever that's called.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing I've done. I've just done double chance to say that they won't lose the game.
We have a comment in from Guilherme Podolski, who is telling us that he's Brazilian and doesn't understand what we're saying. So I'm not sure what we can do about that. My Brazilian is not great. My Portuguese is not great now.
Portuguese in Brazil, but you give me a bit of Spanish there, Albi.
Blur all lines. So I'm not sure if you're even still with us, but hopefully you can enjoy the show there, even though you don't understand us. Then we've got a comment in from Messi. You're back. Can Nice come back and win in the second half? Well, we sure hope so, Messi, because a couple of us have backed Nice. PK has backed it as a single. I've got it in the treble with Kilmarnock and Crystal Palace. And then we've got what looks to be a spam comment there underneath it, so we can just ignore that. So, yeah, lots of action now in the second half between Nice, Newry, and the Premier League. Have you backed Messi? Let us know if you've backed Nice there. Maybe you backed them in play or you had them from beforehand. Would love to know what the angle is.
Yeah, and these two seem on top there, so be pretty confident that they'll get the victory.
Hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Brighton and Nice.
I feel like a bit of a traitor going against Brighton or the draw here, but I just like Crystal Palace there at those odds. Kortrijk corner here.
LB, James wants to know what your Palace bet is in your treble. It's just Palace to win, isn't it?
Yeah, just Palace to win. So they hit 4-1 there, and the logic was just that, when you see teams, Brighton had a penalty, didn't score it. They had Kortrijk should have scored. They had a goal ruled out by VAR, and I just feel sometimes in games when those things go against the team that they can often, their luck is out.
Brighton missed a great chance earlier in the game as well.
They just hit the crossbar now as well, Brighton. Great move.
The more Brighton do it and fail to score, the happier I am with this bet. Kortrijk had that corner I mentioned, unmarked header just outside the 6-yard box. Really should have been an equaliser, and he put it, one of these big loopers that landed on the top of the net. But very disappointing there for people who support Kortrijk, and great news then for James with his bet on Gent.
Probably a likelihood of more goals in that game, isn't there?
Yeah.
3.5. I'm just looking over 4.5. It's 5-2.
4.5, so 2 more goals. What's there left? 25 minutes.
It just went to 11-4. I mean, just if you're looking for a little punt, there's no real value in over 3.5. It's 4-7. So, I mean, If Kortrijk were to get an equaliser, I think that would leave.
Kortrijk are really pushing for it here, and I think they could get caught. It's funny how teams, we've talked about this amongst ourselves off air a lot. The psychology of it, like they're 2-1 down now, and they're absolutely going for it. But they were 1-0 up, and they were playing for the corner flag. Like it's just, it kind of is silly. But I kind of wish now they'd gone that 2-0 up and gotten the early payout on Bet365. But
Palace just had a good chance there. LB on the counter attack. Yeah. Conor Gallagher got the ball down the right hand side, crossed it in, and it was Edouard, I think, slid in, got a touch on it. Keeper made a good save. I don't know whether it might have come off Duffy instead of Edouard, but keeper still did well to keep it out. So that's what we're saying, is that the more Brighton push and try to get the 3 points here, the more they're going to be open to Eze, Elise, and Edouard's pace. They're fairly pacey top 3 for Palace.
Yeah.
I heard you said Duffy there, but I was looking before the game. He's not even in the squad.
Oh, it must have been Dunk then. It looked like Duffy.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great start to the season. I don't know where he's disappeared to now. He's been dropped again by Potter. Doesn't seem to like him.
Yeah.
Or something. I'm not sure what that's about, but anyway, it's just something I observed.
Yeah, he played a couple, like last month against West Ham anyway, so maybe he's out by injury. He actually had a decent game against West Ham as well. So
we've got a couple more comments in. So Messi, you asked us, you put some nice money on Nice to win. Odds were 2+ on a Nice win. So is that like in decimal odds, so 2, so like even money? Is that my take there? My guess. If you bet like 100, you'd win 100 profit. Is that what you're saying to us? And then we got 2 comments in from Sousa, and I actually believe, Jay Sousa, you've commented on this stream before, so hopefully you're a returning viewer. Again, my Portuguese wouldn't be great, but I think you're asking us why aren't we showing the score or something to that effect. So I'm not sure what game you're referring to, because we've got this score up for the Gent match, but is there a different game that you wanted to show the score for? Just let us know what particular game you want. Just in general, we do love feedback from viewers, so let us know if there's something that you think is missing from the screen there. We definitely would include it. There's no reason. We're not trying to make people work hard for our information, not at all. I just did believe we actually showed the score. Let us know what game you're talking about, and that is if my pigeon reading of that Spanish Portuguese there has been correct.
Brighton game has just turned into an end-to-end game now. So Brighton had another great chance there, good save, went out for a corner. The corner came to nothing, but it was down the left-hand side, and I think he probably should have scored. If he got into a good position, you need to be scoring there. Like he kind of was waiting for the ball to come down on his left foot, I think, instead of just hitting it first time. Pretty easy save for the keeper in the end, but Nice have just scored.
Lovely.
Nice.
Congratulations, Messi and everybody else who's backed them there. Nice back in it. Love to see that. Or back in the lead. Commenting from James on Facebook, the in-play stats are all for Gent, but Kortrijk are attacking more in this half. Yeah. I mean, Gent are winning. They're probably, with the injuries and whatnot, they're the better team on the day here. I wouldn't be surprised if they scored, but Kortrijk have really looked better in the second half. They're going for their attacking in numbers when they do get the ball, and the Kortrijk attacks are more dangerous looking than the Gent attacks. Now, the last time I said that, Gent scored, and they very nearly just scored again. But Gent's chances are kind of coming from Kortrijk mistakes. Kortrijk are playing probably the better football, certainly in possession. So, I would agree with your analysis there. Anyone see the goal in the League One? I'm not watching that one.
No, I didn't. I had it open, but I flicked off to check some odds and just saw that they scored, so I didn't see who scored or what the goal was like.
Okay, fair enough.
Look, James is saying best look for Palace there in the comments, but in my bet, that 16-1 bet, I actually just need no more goals. So because I just did the straight draw in Brighton, Nice to win and Kilmarnock to win, so no more.
A late
goals.
cash out for you, Gary, and then an even later goal for Palace, and then we'll both be happy.
Yeah, exactly. That's the. I'm only getting offered 40 quid at the minute for 170 payoffs, so it's not worth even thinking about cashing out now. But just fingers. As you said, it could work out 85th minute, cash out for me, and then we'll hope for one of those late goals that have been a tendency in the Brighton Palace games.
Yeah, Messi, you're back. You're saying yes. You guys proved to be lucky. Well, so far for now, nice score. Thoughts on both teams to score in the Brighton game? I mean, you could say we're lucky, or you could say that we know what we're talking about. So, no, we'll stick with lucky.
I'll take both.
Yeah.
Both.
Both teams to score in the Brighton game. The guys are watching that more than me, but my instinct would be that it's getting a bit late for that. But Gary did say there's a lot of late goals in this fixture. So, Gary, we'll go to you first. Both teams to score, or are we running out of time there?
I still wouldn't be against it. I think I was expecting this to kind of be a second half game, if you know what I mean. The last two games these teams have played, there was a goal at the end of the first half and then a goal in the 90th minute. And then in the game before that, there was a goal in 55 and 90 minutes. So I think you could still see it, but it depends on the odds. So I'd probably be looking for 4 or 5 to 1 to back it now. But I wouldn't write it off fully, basically, is what I'm saying.
Okay, so yeah, if you have it on, don't give up hope, but maybe it's a little bit late to be getting it on now, is what I would.
Yeah, so I see it's 4 to 1 here. I think that's a fair price. If it was 5 to 1, I'd back it. So I probably just need a little bit more odds than there is at the minute. But the way Brighton are playing, if they get a bit of luck, it's hard to see them not scoring. But it's all about them getting that luck, to be honest.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty. Well, other than Nice scoring, it's pretty slow, and they will in-play bets at the moment.
Well, Kilmarnock as well. We got that.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
One.
So, LB, did you follow me in on the bet builder? Sorry, PK, you probably weren't on when we put the bet builder on, but did you follow me in, LB?
Yep.
It actually has a little bit of a chance. So Eze has had his 2 shots.
Nice.
So they didn't need to be on target. So that's a winner. And there's been 5 corners, so we need another few corners. But if Olise could get a shot on target soon, that would start coming back in contention. Still a long way to go, but I got kind of written it off before half time, but it's definitely not one to write off at the minute.
How many corners did you have, Gary?
10.5, so we need 6. But again,
But they're very clustery corners. I wouldn't be worried about that just yet.
I think it's going to get more frantic the more the game goes on as well, and usually that leads to corners. So,
Absolutely. Just a very strange injury in the Belgian game here. Guy was pulling the ball out of the air, tried to control it, and then he's just hobbled off after. So, hopefully nothing too serious. One of the Gent centre midfielders there, that happened to. 73 gone and still 2-1. And I'd say already it looks like there's going to be at least 5 minutes added on in this half, the way it's been kind of stop-start. A good chance for Gent here in the box. Oh no, they're gone to the corner flag. So yeah, not much there to report. What are the odds in the Brighton game, Gary? Like the win odds.
The win odds, just give me 1 sec. So it's 7-5 for Brighton, 9-2 for Palace, and 11-10 to draw.
Okay, so the draw looking like the one there from the bookies' point of view.
Yeah, that's what
I'm going to step away for 1 second here, guys. So just excuse me.
Yeah, no bother, LB. PK, have you any fancies for the weekend?
I find it very hard to do anything with soccer with the mess it is at the moment too, with COVID and stuff like that. And as you well know, the NFL playoffs are starting tomorrow, so most of my attention gets drawn over there. I have a few bets across that already. I think there'll be a couple of upsets, but in terms of soccer or football, I don't really have an eye on much for the weekend. Yourself?
Yeah, so I fancy a bit. So I have my treble up for the EFL.
Yeah.
And I think QPR are a great bet. So I'm actually going to go to that game tomorrow afternoon. QPR are 12-5. They're playing West Brom. Obviously, West Brom are a decent team. You know, they were one of the favourites for the championship at the start of the year. But there's only a point between the teams in the table, and QPR have a game in hand. So if QPR win this and then win their game in hand, they'd actually go 5 points clear. And it's West Brom's away form. So West Brom are priced up at nearly evens, but they've lost 5 of their last 8 away games. So I think that there's massive value in QPR. And so QPR and QPR double chance are 2 bets that I think are a great bet, but I've gone for the juice with QPR at 12-5. And then I've trebled them up with Exeter and over 1.5 goals. So Exeter are a pretty good team in League Two, especially at home. And they're playing a Scunthorpe side who basically concede an average of 2 goals away from home this season. I think they've only won 3 games all season out of like 22 or 23 games that they've played. So they've been pretty toxic. They're second last in the league. So I expect Exeter to win that comfortably. And then I've gone for Sutton away to Stevenage. Again, they seem a decent price. So Stevenage are 4th last in the division, and Sutton are 4th. We can get Sutton at 13-8. The only reason you can get them at 13-8 is that they've had a little bit of a dodgy away record recently, but they've a far better squad, and I think they'll win. So 16-1 the treble, I think it has a great chance, especially if QPR do the business. It's very much live.
That's it sounds a good bet, and that's they're all the early games, right?
Yeah, no, sorry, they're the 3 o'clock kickoffs, but I do in the 12:30 kickoffs. I said earlier, I hate putting tips up for 12:30 kickoffs because they just seem to not play out the way you expect them. So I fancy Bournemouth and Blackburn. I've done them in a treble with Nottingham Forest and an accumulator with QPR. So if they can get the job done, I'll be having a serious interest in the 3 o'clock games in the championship.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Thinking you're trying to get the money won early tomorrow so that you have plenty for the day. Then that'll be
a solid approach.
Sorry, I'm
just I presume I'm not sure if we've answered the comments that are in, guys. I don't want to go back.
No, I'm just going to go on to them there. So
I just seen the last one from Messi there now about who's going to have the more impact, Welbeck or Benteke. I'd say that's pretty hard to call because they offer different dynamics, right? Welbeck is more of a speedster, and Benteke obviously has that aerial prowess. So, I mean, both bring their things to their different teams. So I don't know. I wouldn't know.
Well, the way Gary mentioned that the game was getting real end to end, Welbeck could really spread it. He could, big thread in behind with his speed. So, I'd probably go with him. Yeah. But I mean, Benteke is when he's up for it, he's unbelievable. So,
he did. If memory serves me correctly, Benteke scored a really good goal against Brighton. It could have been last season. Actually, it was the 90th minute winner last season. Benteke scored, so he could do it again, and that was nearly a carbon copy. And I just opened up the stats here. In that game, Brighton had 75 or 74.5% possession and lost 2-1. So it's kind of a carbon copy here is that they've all the possession, they've all the chances, but they could still end up losing the game. So I think Benteke will come on towards the end, and Palace will start lumping balls up towards him and try and cause a bit of chaos.
Yeah, James, both corners mentioned in both comments, James on Facebook and Messi on YouTube. So, James, corner bets are bipolar for me lately. First half seems to end as a safe over, and then second halves are 0-3. So, yeah, I mean, but corner bets are like that, really. I find it as well. I mean, you could back over 8.5 and there'll be 14, or you back over 10.5 and there'll be 4, So it's a tough one. Gary's a big fan of it, more so than me. And then sticking with corners, Messi, Crystal Palace, 0 corners so far. That's poor. I didn't even clock that. Hope it changes when Benteke comes on. He's handy at set pieces. Yeah, I would agree with that. Now, I mean, you certainly want him in the box if you're swinging one in.
There's a corner right now. It's for Brighton, though.
Okay.
Oh.
You're not doing my cheering on a 0-0 here. Any good PK with your
or Mike Fallis bet either.
No, it just was a guy Dunk or whatever got up real high there, but didn't. It was well off target, but it was a chance. Oh, he was scot free. He probably should have done all that.
We've been rolling out some great phrases tonight. Another comment in, Connor Castle, nice one, good take. So hopefully that was my take you're referring to. But yeah, thank you for the comment as always. Yeah, scot free.
Scot free, yeah.
Have you never heard scot free before, no?
Oh, I have, of course, but I never heard of somebody getting scot free at a corner. You get away with something scot free is how I would understand the phrase.
Oh, you're probably right. I probably used it out of context there. Yeah, thanks for that. It's nice to know we have grammar police on this too.
That was not my intention at all, PK. There's been a few phrases tonight that have caught me off guard.
That's okay. Yeah, I heard the one earlier. Whack bang. What was the one?
Crash bang wallop.
Crash bang wallop. Yeah, I heard that one before. I was listening and I was like, yeah, I know that one. I know that one.
But I'd feel like if you dropped something in the kitchen, your mother would tell you to stop making that crash bang wallop, not the football match started real end.
No, crash bang wallop.
Hectic, like fouls everywhere. Do you know, when a game is just not fluid, to crash bang wallop game of football.
I'm with Gary on this one.
I'm definitely going to put that into one of the articles now.
Of course. Yeah.
So I definitely use
draws are the most frustrating thing to cheer on anyway, especially on a live stream.
It never ends. That's the problem with a draw. You're always just waiting, you know.
You could very well be right with your reading of this game, LB, but if Crystal Palace do get it, it will be very much against the run of play because Brighton are all over them.
Yeah, hopefully. For me, sorry, I know other people have got other bets on, so I don't want to be too aggressive in my cheering on.
As long as one of us gets a winner, that's all that matters, like, you know. But
I think the spread we have, someone has to win.
I think a Brighton goal is the only thing that can kill us all, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, my one is actually all right here. So yeah, Nice are winning, Kilmarnock are winning. Just need a Palace goal. So yeah, that's 41-1, and the current cash out is offering me 3-1 here. So yeah, a bit of profit there, but I'm going to leave it right, considering it was such a long shot in the first place. No doubt, Nantes will pull back an equaliser right before Palace score a winner type of job is what I feel is in store here.
They didn't bring on Benteke. They brought on Mateta, who I'm not going to claim to know who he is.
Mateta scored last week in the cup against Millwall. He scored a header from a good price from Elise, or a good cross from Elise. So maybe that's why he's got on ahead of Benteke. They brought Milivojevic on as well. That might be a card angle. Go in and see what price he gets put up for a yellow card. He's one that likes to throw himself into a challenge.
A crash bang wallop style of play, is that it?
Exactly, Liam. Exactly.
Yeah. James, you've just let us know about another in-play angle here. Low stake 18-minute bet for Gent match over 3.5 at 8-5. Yeah, so that's one more goal there at 8-5. Yeah, certainly couldn't give a reason against that. I mean, it's still end-to-end here. Kortrijk pushing on. And it is, is that going to be goal kick? No, it's corner here for Kortrijk. For a very strong tackle there at the edge of the box by one of the Gent defenders. But yeah, Kortrijk pushing on here. So, I mean, you're kind of covering yourself. Oh, he's gone to VAR for a penalty, I believe.
Nice.
I
took a wee nibble.
No, he just ran off to the sideline to do something else. I thought he was going over to check VAR. Stupid referee. What's he doing running over to the sideline like that? Corner here, but yeah, with Kortrijk pushing hard, I mean, I feel like you're either going to win that bet or you're going to win the two bets, or you're going to win your Gent bet. So you're pretty good call there.
I thought you were going to say there, I feel like you're either going to win that bet or lose it.
Oh, come on, PK, I'm better than that.
Oh, God.
No, I mean, one of the bets has to win now, either Gent or the extra goal or both. So, yeah, nice way to be set up at the end of the game there.
Yeah.
Nothing, by the way. Crap. Absolute crap.
Minori bet is they just scored. Just as I was mentioning, I was looking at on Bet365 Minori bet for the double chance. They just scored, so that's good. And plus, I believe James had it
Yeah,
over
that
one.
man's James both teams to score.
Both
Oh,
teams to
both teams
score.
score, yeah.
Plus, he's saying that you're giving him anxiety there with the commentary, the false commentary. LB.
Oh, apologies. No, yeah. I really thought he was going to go for a penalty. Like, you know, you're just so used to seeing it with VAR now. He ran off to the sideline with his freaking little pencil out, but
Especially after a tackle, like especially when the ball's gone dead, right? Well, I suppose they can only run to the sideline when the ball's dead.
Yeah, it's a big tackle in, but no. Anyway, corner came to nothing. So you have to think at some stage here, Kortrijk will run out of steam. You know, I think they had 4 players on the bench at the start of this game, maybe 5, but very small bench. One of their main men went off injured at halftime. By the way, it looked like he was certainly injured at halftime. So you know, no training, small squad. They'll have to start fading, but they're still trying. So hopefully, can catch them on the break and then get both of your bets in.
Yeah, fair play to them actually for. We have action.
Oh, we do indeed. Oh, yes. What I think it is, PK.
Gallagher.
Oh, lovely stuff. So,
exactly what we're saying. It's the counter attack, like.
Yeah.
Well, not so much a counter.
And I said it. Kilmarnock just conceded. So I actually said. I think exactly what I said. Kilmarnock, or somebody would just. I think I said it would be the French game. I was looking at my cash out, waiting it to skyrocket, and it's just gone back down to my stake. I was like, this can't be right.
Kilmarnock are now killing that treble, is it?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's rough.
That is brutal. Like if the Palace goal had come a minute earlier, I would have been able to get a decent cash out.
88 minute. Wow.
Yeah. Literally, after the Palace goal came up, the Partick Thistle goal came up. Or Partick, whoever it is. Oh, that's a brutal one there.
Some scenes in the Palace away end, you're like...
of course. Just do it. Like, those things that always happen when you're watching team and they're having chance and just can't get anything from it, and VAR and missed penalties. Their ship has sailed, you know.
I love Gallagher, though. He's a quality player. Like,
he really is starting to look like... He squeezed that in the only place he could too. That was a great finish. That guy Matetas, I think he assisted it too, so he was a good sub.
Yeah, he actually did really well to swing it back. Like,
yeah.
To be honest, now I'm still gutted over this stupid Scottish match.
Oh, you would be. That was a 35-1 treble.
41-1.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I have a feeling there's going to be another goal in this game, though.
Which, the Palace game? Partick game.
Yeah, but it's the Partick Kilmarnock game that's killing us now because it's the latest in.
Oh, I know.
88 minutes there. So.
Oh, God.
Absolutely sick now.
Yeah.
Oh, Gallagher was nearly got another one. Wow. This is going to get N10 now, I do believe, anyway. If it wasn't already.
Yeah, well, Brighton need to go all out attack now. Like.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch the last couple of minutes of this Scottish Championship game.
It's mad how Brighton just can't score goals. Like, it must be so frustrating to be one of their fans. Because, like, they played shit football under Chris Hughton and couldn't score. And now they're playing really good football under Potter and they can't score.
Yeah.
Yep. Even from a penalty, yeah? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Good point, PK. Free kick here now for Kilmarnock. God, that'd be great stuff now altogether if they could manage to grab a late one. No indication here of how long is added on. I'm not 91 minutes on the clock, so very unlikely now I'll get anything out of this unless they grab a very late winner.
There's a dangerous attack to Kilmarnock, according to Betfair.
I'm watching it. He's right at the corner flag, though. Corner, I believe. Goal kick. Still hasn't come up how many minutes. I'm not big on information up there in the Highlands.
No.
At this stage now, I'll be cheering on a Brighton equaliser for your bet, Gary, instead. If here we go. So close.
For who? Kilmarnock?
Kilmarnock, yeah. It's always all Kilmarnock since I turned it on. Kind of a counter-attack or a breakaway. I don't think Partick even had a real attack in the first place to make it a counter-attack, but they breakaway and then I think he's gone out for a corner here or a throw in near the corner flag, I can't tell. 92 minutes now on the clock and still no indication of how long, so I must have missed it.
Danny Welbeck has just come on, so Messi is still with us. You might want to go in and back him for a goal after calling it.
Kortrijk, LB.
Equalised.
Yep.
Lovely stuff. Hard luck to James. I know you got Gent backed, but I did say it. It was all them. Partick, what are you doing? Sorry, I flicked over to this Belgian match,
I think
PK. I missed
James
that.
backed me over 3.5 there anyway, so he would have.
Yeah, it was a good hedge.
hedge.
I like the look of that. God, imagine if Kortrijk went on and got a winner here. 91 minutes on the clock. I'd love to see that. Just if so presuming your best not going to win, James, but I did like to look at Kortrijk beforehand. Kilmarnock here, they're doing everything they can. Both of these teams are playing like there's loads of time left, and there obviously isn't. So
James is after proving why he's probably a better gambler than me because H&W Welders have now taken the lead against Newry and his bet has landed and mine definitely hasn't.
yeah,
No way.
Double chance, but
Signals around tonight, but James seems to be doing well anyway. So
sticking for
James, are you free next week or?
Yeah.
Yeah, just for anybody who's watching in for the first time. So we do this same time every Friday, 7:30 every Friday. And we bet on whatever matches are on. Thursday afternoon, you'll see our article go up on the website. So check on SportsRunDown.com to see what we're going to back. And then we cheer that on throughout the show. So if you like what you've seen, Messi, James, and everybody else watching in, then make sure to tune in next week at 7:30. I think you can set an alert. So James, you're on Facebook. You can set an alert. So when we go live, you'll get a notification to tell you we're live and you can watch in. So try and set that up if you can.
Yeah, off Gary, and we'd love to get a couple of people back. Become regular viewers. That'd be great for us. Corner there for Gent went nowhere. And it is looking like a goal kick here. Straight over the back. I wouldn't say unmarked. That's a bit extreme, but a free header in the inside the 6-yard box straight over. Scot-free, yeah. And 1 minute left now. Goal kick for KV Kortrijk. I hope they get this right down to the box now and works.
And sorry, we just see Messi is in with a couple of comments there. So he's saying, with Hove, John, he wants Palace to get a penalty for Hove to score. But he's also looking for Benteke to come on. So saying he's still with us. Time for Palace to bring on Benteke. And then wondering how Brighton haven't scored. Palace have 1 shot on target and 1 goal. So, I agree with vast majority of what you've said there, Messi. I think, personally, that's the way I expected the game to go anyway. I think it's in the article on the site. Brighton were always going to dominate possession, but I did think Palace would have a bit more going forward than they have had so far. That's going to be an interesting last kind of 10 minutes here now to see. I think it's either going to be a draw or Palace will win at 2-0. I don't think it'll stay at this score.
Kilmarnock game is over, I think so.
So is the Kortrijk game. Ended with a Kortrijk corner. Really weird. 94 minutes and something on the clock. 4 minutes added on. Very clearly going to be the end of the game, and Kortrijk only sent about 4 guys up for the corner. Stupid, annoying pass. Would have liked to see them get a late winner there, but not to be. So that game finishes 2-2. Hopefully you cashed out 60, 70 minutes in, like you were saying, James, or at least you got your over 3.5 money. So that's a good cover there. Best of luck tomorrow for tomorrow's guys. I cashed out, luckily then put on the 3.5 on the lost. That's great news there, delighted with that. And Messi, how come Brighton have not scored? It's crazy. I think that's the comment Gary was referring to. So I think I tend to see that. I remember seeing a lot when Borussia Dortmund had their great Champions League seasons under Klopp, and I remember seeing a lot of their games, and it's the first time it kind of penny dropped for me that the team is not taking their chances early, or things go against them. I'd be inclined to start laying them as opposed to expecting those chances to keep coming their way. Messi points out, even PK mentioned how this game was in Palace's favour in the second half, and Palace is trying on the counter. So, very good point there.
Even if PK is getting it right, it must be obvious.
It's very much against the run of play thing, but it's as the two you alluded to, it's the way them games go, right? That if you don't take advantage of it when you're dominating, then the other team is liable to take their one chance. It happens quite frequently, and it's weird though, but it's coming true here.
Thinking it might be a good idea if we post in the link to the competition. I know some people watching this may not be into NFL, but it's a free competition, so like if it's free, you might as well enter. And if you do happen to be watching one of the games, you'll get an interest from entering anyway. So I'm going to put it into YouTube here. I don't know whether you can put it into Facebook. And as I said, all you have to do is click on the link, put in your details to enter, and it's completely free to join. It's going to be run over the next 4 or 5 weeks, the NFL playoffs. And if you aren't in the NFL, we can probably do you a cash prize instead of giving you the NFL apparel. It'll be totally your choice. So feel free to enter that competition that we've just posted in.
Yeah, it's in Facebook there now as well. If anyone's still with us on Facebook, I can see there's a few watching. I must say now that those late, the way those games have ended, it's kind of taken the wind out of my sails a bit. That stupid Kilmarnock conceded goal.
Absolute killer,
Yeah, really painful. And we said 41-1, you know. It's a tough one to take. So you got a nice escape there at the end for you, James, in that Belgium match. So very happy that you got your money. It's quite like I said at the start of the game, you know. I never felt that the odds were good for Gent. 5-1 on. You look at the statements coming out of Kortrijk and what the manager's been saying and the kind of siege mentality, not to mention the fact that I think that the odds had just overreacted in general. So I'd say a lot of act is let down tonight by Gent there. But thankfully not yours, James. So very good stuff. Any live bets on, guys? Any action still remaining? I think I'm a bust for the night now. I think all my action is
I'm going to back a late, one more goal in the Palace game in a couple of minutes. Brighton have a corner here, so I'm hoping they don't score from it. But I'm going to give it 2 or 3 more minutes and then get in on that. And then just to answer Messi's question, so he's essentially saying, how's the Nice game looking and should he cash out? So I haven't been watching it fully, but anytime I've seen it, Nice have looked fairly okay. As I said, at Nantes just attacking. Yeah, Nice have looked fairly comfortable from what I've seen. So I personally would hold off, but it really depends on the stake and what your cash balances are like in your accounts. If you're happy with the cash out value you're being offered, then I take it. But personally, I would leave it at this stage. And lastly, just to say, Benteke has come on for Palace, so he could be a good angle in the next scorer market.
Is it gone suspended in the Palace game? Oh, it's back now. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's for a foul of some sort, but I don't think there's anything to worry about here.
No, it says free kick to Palace is what's coming up here. It looks like a free out. So, let me know when you're going to pull the trigger on that goal, Gary. It's 2-1 now on the Betfair exchange, a little bit below 2-1 for a second goal.
I jumped on quite a bit earlier. I jumped on it
just over 1.5.
No, 10 to 11, like 10 minutes ago.
No, sorry, you put over 1.5 goals.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm still highly interested in this game.
Yeah, no, plenty to be cheering on. Should you cash out? That's the same question that Gary just answered. So, looking good now. Yeah, look at 2-1 there. So that is the landmark. I might jump on that now myself.
Yeah, it's I think it's the only game really left going, isn't it? The Nice game is on, but I think Messi's money should be fairly safe there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pulling a trigger, but not just on one goal. I'm back in Solly March at 40-1 to score for Brighton.
That is quite a jump from me just hanging on there for another goal.
2-1 to 40-1. That's nice.
I think 40-1 is just too big. I was hoping to see something like 10-1. So like 40-1 is too big. So
you just back them to score any time.
Well, no, second goal scorer.
Back to score next.
Basically any time, but
it shouldn't be much difference.
Yeah. Yeah, so Messi's just in there saying he doesn't want to cash out either. So fingers crossed they hold on for you, Messi. And he's also saying he thinks there'll be one more goal in the Brighton game. So
why do you fancy Solly March, by the way, out of curiosity?
Well, he's just a good attacking midfielder. So I think like Brighton are just going to go for it. You look at Maupay and Trossard, there wasn't much value in them, I didn't think. So for an attacking midfielder to be 40-1, I mean, I'd have a defender at 40-1, not an attacking midfielder. So, and I think he could take penalties as well. And he takes the odd free kick. He doesn't take them all, but he takes the odd free kick. So,
you'd imagine Maupay will take the next penalty if there is one, right? I would have thought anyway.
I mean, he bottled the first one, so.
No, that was gross, right?
I know, but not taking it. Like, you think he would have had first dibs on it.
Yeah, I thought it was strange. All right. Must be a training ground competition or something that he lost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just entering 90 minutes in the Nice game here. It's a bit of head tennis going on. So 3 minutes it looks to be added on. Is it a 1 or a 3? Sorry, it's very small on my screen.
Hopefully 1.
Is it a 1?
No, I said hopefully. I'm not watching it. I'm now watching the Premier League as well.
Yeah, Palace are clinging on here. It's 81% possession for Brighton in the last 10 minutes. It's insane.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, but they haven't really done much with the possession. Is the big thing? Like them to swing a few crosses or something into the box, like.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or even, I'm surprised they haven't stuck Dan Byrne up front. Like, he's about 7 foot tall, the centre half. So you think just putting him up and lumping a few balls up to him and causing a bit of crash bang well would work.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is it?
I think it might be an OG, judging by the
cameras
goal
here. Yeah, Anderson. Goal.
Anderson.
Own goals don't count in that market, don't they? So I think my Solly March bet rolls on.
Beautiful. Yeah, this is all Maupay. I think that creates the goal.
Did you get on the 2-1, LB?
Yeah, but a very small stake. So
nice one.
A win's a win. Oh, it goes
Yeah.
in between the keeper's legs as well. That's rough.
yeah, so this actually brings your 16-1 back in, Gary.
Yeah.
To score or draw. Oh no, sorry, no, because
No.
everything lost. The
Yeah.
thing, you know.
That's it. It was Kilmarnock have cost me that.
Oh shit! I thought you had. Oh, you didn't have like an in-play. I thought you had a bet builder, a same game bet builder. No.
I had a bet builder, but I needed Eze or Elise to get a shot on target, and he got subbed for Benteke. So
he got subbed. Shit.
yeah.
Messi has actually made a comment here. Actually, I quite like this comment. That's an interesting backing Solly Marsh ahead of Welbeck or Maupay. So, yeah, I would kind of have a similar. I know we didn't get into it tonight, but if you do check out SportsRunDown next week and we look at the Champions League bets, I'll do a lot of shots on target bets. And, I think there's often much better value in backing guys slightly down that market. It's the same with the goals, So, I would imagine, Gary, you can explain your bet there, but it seems to me that that's probably what you're looking at. It's just a better price as opposed to, necessarily more likely to score.
Yeah, a better price for a guy who's like, even when that goal was scored there, if you look at when the ball goes in, Solly March was about like a yard out from goal, kind of hatching on the line. So now he wasn't going to score from it, but like he's an attacking midfielder who's going to be getting into those positions. So that's why I thought he was overpriced. I said if he had been 10-1, I wouldn't have backed him, but 40-1, I thought there was a bit of value in there, and I was only putting small stakes on, so it was a novelty bet. Just Nice nearly conceded in the 92nd minute there. There was a header over the bar, but I think the match is over now, so that's landed for Messi. So fair play on that one, Messi.
Yeah, and James is back. Gaz, get the treble up. I don't believe so, Gary. You just talked us through. You didn't quite get that one up.
Yeah, no. Kilmarnock have put a dagger through my heart, conceding late for. They knocked that treble, unfortunately. But
well, I know there's 5 minutes left here or so. But
the Brighton game, considering that was 7-2 at the start of the game, the draw on both teams to score, and we did call out that there was going to be a late goal as well. So
actually, James
not in profit at the minute.
James is saying just back to celebrate that Brighton goal, 5-1. I presume you mean not 5-1. So if you back the Brighton goal at 5-1, that'd be great. Great little bet there. That must have come on not too long before the goal was scored, so even better.
Must have been just before.
Yeah, you must be having a good night, James. Anyway, it seems like you're up a decent amount of points anyway from what you've said. So fair play on that, and fingers crossed your bets in tomorrow, the under 3.5 in the City game to get things rolling.
I think I better back that treble actually.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll keep trawling back through the comments later on, just picking out all the bets. Like.
Yeah, great stuff, James. Yeah, we love to see people winning. So fantastic stuff there.
And James, you might have missed it. So we put a competition in there for the NFL. So I know this is a football show, but it's going to be a good competition. It's based on betting markets. So feel free to enter that. I said at the minute the prize is an NFL jersey, but we can probably exchange that for cash.
A Brighton jersey, if that's what you feel for, guys.
Brighton jersey after getting that goal. We'll buy you a Solly March jersey.
A great comment here, by the way, from Messi even. Sorry, it's your first time watching and you really love the show and we've earned your subscription. So that's fantastic. Really, makes it worthwhile to get those subscriptions, or even just to get the feedback, to be honest, never mind the subscriptions, but do throw them our way if you can be so inclined. So love the positive feedback there, Messi, and really love to have you with us, and hopefully we'll see you and James and the rest of you guys commenting in, and even just the silent viewers that we have. Hopefully we see you guys next week.
Yeah, and it hasn't been. Sorry, go ahead, McKay.
I'm just saying, we've had more in terms of goals and bets. We've had more active weeks, but the engagement tonight has been very good from the guys watching in, and they've landed a few bets, and so have we. So it's been a pretty good night in that regard.
Yeah, and I was just going to say it's great that people are enjoying the show, but as LB said earlier on, if there is anything that you think we can do to make the show better, the on-screen visuals, anything like that, let us know, and we'll try and improve it. So hit us up on our socials, and any feedback is good feedback, good or bad. So cheers for that.
Good point, Gary. So that is getting really late now in this game. What's the time on the clock here in injury time, is it, in the Brighton game?
Yeah, plus 4 minutes and there's 2 gone, so
getting on there. Yep, be pretty nice end to it, Gary, considering your article you called out the tendency these two teams to have to play out 1-1 draws.
That was Welbeck nearly scored.
Mental that if this holds up, it's 4 of the last 6 that have ended 1-1. So I didn't even look to see what a 1-1 draw was priced up at, but it must have been 6-7 to 1, would it?
It was 6 to 1 because I looked. when you said it in the article. 6-1. So we're going to end like this. So you said Welbeck came close there, PK, did you?
Yeah, he just got a ball got fizzed across and he glanced it in and just went over the bar. I think that's 2 good chances he's had since he came on, actually.
Something quite likeable about Danny Welbeck, but he just lacks a little bit of finishing. That kind of killer instinct in front of goal sometimes lets him down.
I think the biggest thing is, like, as a fan, he always tries. You never see him like standing in one spot or whatever. He's always moving, trying to do stuff. So I think fans kind of latch onto that and have an appreciation for someone actually trying to score a goal or trying to make things happen. Like,
I remember when Arsenal signed him, and there was a lot of bad signings at the club at that period, and the fans all loved him. Because like what you said, he's always at it, always working. If he starts and gets hauled off after 60 minutes, he runs to the sideline. If he comes on with 10 minutes to go, he'll run 2 kilometers in those last 10 minutes. He gives everything, He
definitely does. It's just the end product, I suppose. That's lacking.
Yeah.
I think you can kind of see maybe Rashford's career going to go in the same trajectory as Welbeck, couldn't you? Start off so brightly, and then it looks like you have the world at your feet in terms of a striker, and then it just all kind of goes downhill from there.
I wouldn't write Rashford off just yet, though. I mean, I know he's going through a little bit of a sticky patch at the minute, and he hasn't been great. But like, I think people are just jumping on the bandwagon a lot with slagging him off. That, like I said, his performances haven't been good enough this season, but strikers go through barren spells, and I think he'll bounce back from at some stage.
No, I fully agree. I'm not slagging him off either. I'm just saying, like, you can see similarities in terms of how they started and how it kind of goes. Rashford has nothing but time. He's still very young and obviously can improve. I'm not wishing any badness on him either, but I'm just pointing out that there could be, the trajectory could be the same.
I'd be more inclined to agree with PK there. I mean, like, as good as any professional footballer is going to have buckets of talent. Like, he had the season before last where he was, electric, and he scored probably about a goal every second game. But like before that, it's, a goal every 4 games is kind of his average, and it has been for most of his career except one season. So I would be more, I wouldn't say that he's having a bad season. I'd say he had one very good season, and the rest of it, he's in that realm. Okay, he's probably he's a better finisher than Welbeck, but it's a similar kind of, if you're going to play up front and start for a top tier team, you need to produce something more than one every 3.5 to 4.5 games would be my take on it. So hopefully with there seems to be a lot of change at United, it could play into his hands a bit. He might, be able to nail down a better run of form, but it might be more on PK's side in this one. James has commented in, Brighton had 3 shots off target in injury time. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't watching that game as closely as the guys, but that will feel more like a 2 points dropped for Brighton than anything else.
That's why they're not Champions League contenders, huh?
But they're playing good football. Like, Palace have been decent recently too, like, and given hard games to some of the top teams, like, and Brighton completely outplayed them for, I'd say, 80% of that game anyway. So I mean, Brighton are playing good football, but as you alluded to, they just can't seem to get the goals when they should. There's no ruthless streak in them. They might dominate possession and play good football, but they need to score 3 goals on the back of that some days,
Yeah. Messi's put a few comments in there. Ferguson played Welbeck ahead of Chicharito, who puts in a great shift himself. So he played him ahead of Chicharito for a reason, and then he can play on the wide as well. Yeah, he played. He was kind of like, the second iteration of the way Ferguson played Ji-sung Park. Do you remember him? He played like a very kind of workhorse role in those teams, and then was able to produce from time to time as well. And then Rashford isn't doing himself any favors. Look at Mbappe when he missed his penalty in the Euros. Didn't hear anything from him, and look at the way he's performing this season. So, I think it was probably could have a full show talking about Rashford and his trajectory going from here on in. It's going quite late in the night. Messi, good game. Wish I played both teams to score. Yeah, well,
that's probably my fault for not being as committed, because I did fancy it, and I did say if it was 5-1, I'd back it. I wouldn't back it at 4-1. So if I put you off at Messi, apologies. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, James, you've asked us, there any thoughts on Minamino? I mean, I'm not sure you're asking specifically about his miss yesterday, which I thought was pretty poor. I think he's the sort of player, he's not to be in any way harsh on him, but I think he's going to let you down in those key moments more than win you the games. So I don't rate him all that highly personally, and just more general than his miss yesterday. I think, probably we talk about this PK off air that Arsenal probably had the better chances, but I think the number one chance of the game did fall to Minamino. So that's my thinking, but not sure if you guys have any thoughts on him in general.
I kind of with you. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's a top level player. And he can come in for a game or two, but in a period like this, when Salah and Mane are away at AFCON, he's probably not going to do the business. And that's probably why Liverpool ended up having 12 COVID tests that were positive, falsely.
Yeah, we'll hold that for the next show. We haven't got a chance to get around to it again tonight. It's been a lingering issue, but we'll see if they get a couple of results, or they win their second leg of the EFL Cup or whatever happens. It'll be back on the radar. But they'll probably start buying lotto tickets up there at Anfield, considering the way their luck is at the minute.
That's all. If you can get 12 false positives, then go do the Irish lotto that needs to be won tomorrow.
Yeah. I actually texted somebody to buy me a ticket and tried to buy me just this game or this round and the next round of the lotto, and they're not even accepting that anything you do has to be just for tonight because it has to be won
tomorrow night.
Sorry. So that is the show. I'm not sure if you have any parting thoughts or we wrap it up here. The live football is all but stopped. There might be some odd games on. I know Portugal usually goes a bit later. I don't know if there's anything on tonight down there.
No, nothing of interest. Unfortunately, in Portugal tonight either. I was looking myself. I'm just looking there. I haven't looked at the weekend too much, but Newcastle are somehow even money to beat Watford tomorrow, and I know they're at home, but I'm not sure what Newcastle have done to deserve that price. If you're a fan of laying bets, I think there's value in that.
You wouldn't believe in it. For me, it's just a stay away from kind of game. I'll happily pass on that one.
Dennis is 12-5 to score. I think that's not a bad price. He's Watford's main man, and Newcastle love conceding goals. So
I'm staying away from that as well. Like Dennis, Watford refused to let him go to AFCON. So I don't know how he's going to respond to that. But
I think he might be disgruntled as well.
Yeah, I have a feeling that could be. I mean, Watford seem to have a real. I don't know what it is about Watford, but I mean, I always get the vibe that it's a very kind of caustic atmosphere up there internally, and churning through players and managers and stuff. And I don't know what is to be gained from keeping a player there against his will. So I don't know. I think I'd stay away from him just to see. Maybe he doesn't care that much, and he didn't want to go and he used the club as an excuse, and who knows? But if he wanted to go and they just said no, I think it could be a sticky spell for Watford.
Well, I wasn't aware of that, so I'm glad I posed the proposition there.
Yeah, get it out there. Problem share is a problem halved, PK, isn't that right?
It's money saved potentially. If he scores tomorrow now, I'm going to kill you, but whatever.
Yeah, he probably scored a hat-trick and they'll batter him. You make a point in the comments there, Messi, that myself and Gaz mentioned it, but too late, or it might be too late, Jen. We taught you not to cash out of that Nice game. So very glad you hung on there and kept that extra bit of profit instead of giving it back. So very happy about that. Me personally, I've actually no bets lined up for this weekend. I was actually under the weather myself a little bit this week and haven't had a chance to do my normal research. So at the moment, I think I'll just tail the bets that you guys have mentioned. I will definitely do James's treble. I will take Enzo's Serie A from the site that I'd actually missed. And when Savage and his La Liga football, the La Liga schedule is strange this weekend, so that'll probably go up on the site around Sunday, and then we'll have Dermot and his French football and Gary's EFL, of course. So I'll be back in everybody else's bets, but I have no insights of myself to share for the weekend.
I suppose the last thing just to say is for the lads watching in, we do this every Friday, but our socials are fairly active, so you'll see tweets on our Twitter feed and Facebook posts. So watch out for them. Feel free to interact with them as well. We'll get our comments back on it for the weekend as well. So the show is when we're live on air, but we're always monitoring the social feed. So feel free to get in contact that way.
Yeah, that's a good point, Gary. Just in general, like we do love chatting about sports and football and betting with people. So, ask us questions, just, drop us a tweet, just get in touch, and we love this stuff. It looks like you guys love it as well. So yeah, just have those conversations, and it'll I think we all plenty of winners go floating around tonight. So I think we all win the more we talk about this stuff. So yeah, happily love it if people reached out. And yeah, we'll be back at the same time next Friday. So 7:30 p.m. UK time. We'll be getting back. I'm not sure what the schedule is now off the top of my head, but we will be back in action then. And yeah, unless there's any last minute comments, we can wrap the show up there and say good night. Where are you guys from, by the way? So, okay, some great points here from Messi. So, where are you from? So, the three of us are actually Irish. None of the three of us are in Ireland right at this moment, but the three of us are from Ireland. And what are our Twitter handles? So, I don't know how to best get those.
I'll put it into. So, Twitter handle has been put into YouTube there. So,
okay, so you can see it there. So that's the team one. That's the kind of Sports Rundown group one, and then we'll all have our own Twitter handles that you'll see. If you go onto that one, you'll see that we engage regularly with the main page, and that's the way. So you are watching us from Dubai. Oh, very nice. You should be getting some slightly better weather out there in Dubai than it is in Ireland at the minute.
What's the time in Dubai right now?
Yeah, it must be very late, isn't it?
Yeah, like one in the morning now, or more. Well, later.
I read before that people in Dubai, you could see it in southern parts of Europe, that people avoid the hot part of the center of the day, so stuff happens later and stuff like that. So, it'd be interesting to know. It's an interesting time for the sports, to be honest. Well, that's great.
It's 2:05 at night, so yeah, it's
okay. A manageable degrees outside. We can imagine it at 2 a.m. So. Okay, very good. Yeah, so Messi, if you see the Twitter handle there, if you go over there, you'll see the main page, and then from that you can find any of our individual Twitter handles. Obviously, if you tweet us a question there, we will be able to usually watch the games at McGettigan's, an Irish pub. Oh, very good.
Yeah, McGettigan's. It's a very famous Irish bar.
Yeah, it's a famous bar there in Dubai. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll need to get over for a trip.
Yeah, hopefully there's a good atmosphere in there, and for the football. So yeah, that's interesting.
Messi might be interested in some of the stuff. So we also do horse racing, Messi. In the last couple of years, we've done a day-long preview or a day-long bet-along with the Dubai World Cup. So it's usually the end of March time, the Dubai World Cup. I was actually over there myself a couple of years ago. So yeah, if you're interested in horse racing, check out the site. And if you're interested in a massive day of punting when the Dubai World Cup comes around again, we'll be doing an all-day stream to take that action in.
Yeah, looking forward to that already. Yeah, great stuff. Okay, so I guess that is the end of the show here tonight. Really, yeah, actually, really enjoyable show. My bets weren't particularly successful, but really enjoyed it. And you alluded to it earlier, PK. The engagement is great. So, yeah, great night, and we'll see you guys same time next week, Friday at 7:30 UK time.
Yep.
Yeah, great. Cheers, guys. Speak next week.
Take care. Good night. Bye bye.
Yep.